smoke enough dope, anything can happen.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, December 19th, 2019. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1200.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating 1200 Cinco de Mayos and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where all we're talking about is the impeachment, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
There it is. The horn of happiness. Congratulations, John. We made it.
Yes.
1,200 episodes of the best podcast.
The horn was for the impeachment.
Oh,
that's right. Pelosi said no celebrating. No celebrating.
No celebrating, no clapping.
Spike in the ball.
Don't be happy
Democrats.
about anything. So 1,200 episodes. And to think that 1,100 episodes ago, I said, hey, I think we had a good run.
Yes.
Do you remember?
We should dredge that show up. We should wrap. We did 100 shows.
Yeah, we've done 100 shows, man. It's good. It's like, let's just call it a day. I was honestly thinking that was done at the time.
Yes, you were sadly mistaken.
I was mistaken. Sadly mistaken. But just looking at, my goodness, so much feedback this week. It really has been incredible. I've also been, I've taken, because, I have my Lubuntu Linux set up, and I've got Claws Mail, which is the most configurable email client you've ever seen in your life. So I've got all these ways of responding. I've got templates, and I can add things and personalize. And so, of course, I'm replying to people. Hey, thanks, Jason. That was great. And what that really creates is more email, because then people say, "Oh, he replied. Let me reply. You're welcome." Stuff like that. And it's just another email I have to deal with. But so many good things coming in.
Was Adam at clawsmail.com?
And there you go. Try that, please. I mean, people are even tweeting me now about things you've said.
I will admit it's a witch's curse.
The witch's curse?
Yeah, put on you. To lessen my email load.
Well, as if you read all your emails anyway.
Well, they still accumulate.
So, just to put everything into perspective, yesterday we had the whole day was 30 seconds of this guy, 1 minute of that lady,
guy and this guy,
back and forth, and it was just like ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. Now, I went out.
He sucks. No, he doesn't. You suck. He sucks. You suck.
I went out to run a couple of errands, and found myself in the midst of the people shopping. Let me tell you, I didn't see anybody looking all worried about impeachment. I didn't see people standing around monitors watching this take place, this historic event. People don't care. I don't think if you walk down the street right now, people say, I don't know, are they done with that yet? I haven't figured it out yet. It was, because I remember the Nixon impeachment. Of course, I remember Clinton, but Nixon was, wow, man. I remember the Watergate tapes. My grandmother would send cassettes to my mom, but the whole world was really tuned in then. Clinton, I think, was much bigger than this, although I don't really specifically recall the impeachment vote. Do you remember? And was it as just unimportant seemingly to everybody?
Well, it was more of a, to be honest about it, Clinton actually committed felonies and Trump hasn't. But
right.
even so, the felony was like protecting protecting his little, mostly his tete-a-tete with Monica Lewinsky. And so it was like there was tittering, because what had happened. And so everyone was kind of like, it was kind of semi-lewd and kind of an embarrassment. And Clinton had already been known as a kind of a rambler, he's been.
But
these other
but were
women.
people, thinking about it, talking about it?
No,
On
it
the
was
sidewalk?
I would say it was very equivalent.
Yeah.
Only it was the kind of hee kind of thing.
Well, yeah. Also, we had sex involved, which was much cooler actually for an impeachment. I mean, this is the most
you
boring
also had
topic
Clinton
you can
going,
come up
I did
with.
not have some,
Yeah, we had some fun things. Yes, we learned that blowjobs isn't sex.
Yeah, which helped the economy.
But I can sum up yesterday with 4 phrases.
4 phrases.
4 phrases. Here we go. I took an oath. National security.
It's a solemn day. You got that one in there?
No, I have. No one is above the law. And my favorite, integrity. And I cannot stop my brain from flashing to South Park Tegrity Weed every time I hear someone say it. It's a genius phrase those guys came up with. Integrity. Lots of integrity. National security. And people are actually saying that national security was damaged because Russian is our enemy and some Javelin tank busters was going to save us from Russia. I mean, the whole thing is just bizarre.
Well, the national security thing is lame, but my favorite one is the law and order. Oh, no, it's about law and order, law and order. Meanwhile, this is the same party that condones 11 million illegal aliens, sanctuary cities. We're a nation of laws.
Yes, no one is above the law.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
In fact, no one is above the law except a large portion of illegal immigrants. They're pretty much above the law in the United States.
So there's that.
There's also,
I have a few.
Wait. There's something else I noticed.
Okay.
We had a switch, and it was it was creeping up for the past couple of weeks, but we switched from founding fathers to the framers. And
yes, yeah, that's that. There you go. Because they were framing Trump.
Yes, it's in their mind. They were thinking the the framers. And I think the only framers are these Democrats.
The framers.
It's Schiff, Nadler, and Pelosi. They are the actual framers. I don't know if that was subliminal.
I think that's a 10-point catch.
It's just
you caught one over your shoulder running toward the wall.
That's right. And it hit me. It's like, oh my goodness, this is something in their deep consciousness that's coming out. The framers.
I like it. The framers,
because it is the framers of the Constitution, but that wasn't used as much that I can recall over the founding fathers.
Nobody used it.
Let me see. I will say, and of course we'll do some stuff from the past couple of days, but last night, Nancy Pelosi, man, she had a dynamite dress on. I thought she was dressed perfectly. Her hair, she had did you see she had the mace? She was wearing the mace pin, which I had to learn about this. You know the mace in the House of Commons in UK Parliament, they have that staff.
Yeah, it's like some sort of it represents
a power
artifact,
thing.
And they had to bring it in and out. It just has some symbolism.
Yeah, it's. I think it represents the Queen, that she's there, or it's in power. It's the power stick essentially. There's one of these in Congress, which I didn't realize, and it represents the power stick of the Speaker of the House, and now you'll see it for the Speaker to her right in the background, but for us television viewers to the left, and it was a replica of the. It has a special name, I think. The mace. It's a ceremonial thing, but anyway, she was wearing her power stick, and everything was great except she was once again chewing her cud or whatever was in her mouth. And I mean, I don't know if you want to start here, but she basically laid out the lawfare group strategy, which is going to draw this insanity out even further by not sending the articles of impeachment to the Senate. And I'm kind of kicking myself because someone had sent me the rules of how this was supposed to work with the managers. We heard this term yesterday, the impeachment manager. And I think the impeachment manager takes the 2 articles of impeachment in a very important looking briefcase and walks it over to the Senate. But the minute the managers I think, are appointed, not even the delivery of the documents, they're appointed. The Senate has 24 hours to get their ass in gear and start scheduling whatever they're going to do. And so, well, I have the clip here of Pelosi almost, I mean, it was very messy because people, I guess someone was already onto this and they knew to ask the question. So, what are you going to do now? Are you going to send it? Who's the manager? Who are you going to, of course, it'll be Schiff or Nadler or whatever. Who are you going to appoint so we can send this over to the Senate? And I'll just spoil the clip a little bit. But I said, oh, no. We're not sending anything until we know it's going to be a fair trial. So the strategy has expertly taken this and flipped it on its head to blame the Republicans now, specifically Mitch McConnell, for not either facilitating a speedy wrap up of this event, or really trying to subvert justice, and it's not going to be a fair trial. Have a listen.
So we will make our decision as to when we're going to send it when we see what they're doing on the Senate side, but that's a decision that we will make jointly. Okay,
You got to listen to this, what she says here.
You're starting to act like another country. Don't shout, okay?
So the reporters are yelling. And then she says, stop, you're sounding to sound like another country. Don't yell. What was going on in her mind? What other country is she referring to?
Well, you obviously got this clip.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I have no idea what she's talking about. Maybe the UK. But anyway, we'll continue.
You're starting to act like another country. Don't shout, okay? Who's not going to shout the question?
Slave.
Yes, sir.
Guarantee that the impeachment articles will be at some point sent to the Senate.
I'm not. That would have been our intention, but we'll see what happens over there.
So you may not.
That is not. You're asking me. Are we all going to go out and play in the snow? That has not been part of our conversation. That has not been part of our conversation. No, I've never raised the prospect. You asked the question. I never raised the prospect. I said we're not sending it tonight because it's difficult to determine who the managers would be until we see the arena in which we will be participating.
So now she's saying we need to know what your process is going to be before we know who we're going to appoint, which kicks off the 24-hour period. So this is a very interesting twist.
That's all I said. I never raised the prospect. Well, we'll see when they come forward. It's up to the Senate to say what their rules will be. My colleagues, do you want to say anything about this? Because it is, this is a serious matter. Even though the majority leader in the United States Senate says it's okay for the foreman of the jury to be in cahoots with the lawyers of the accused. That doesn't sound right to us. But let's see when they understand what we have acted, and now they'll understand what their responsibilities are, and we'll see what that is. But I never raised that possibility. No. Okay, that's it.
So she can now hold this for weeks, months, all of a sudden trigger it when she wants to. But in the meantime, it has given the media more raw meat, and the nightmare is not going to end. It's just going to continue, the bickering, the back and forth, and now it's going to be Schumer and McConnell. It's a mess.
It's a Schiff show.
Someone said that yesterday. I heard someone actually say this is a Schiff show.
And Schiff, actually, when they went back to him, because I saw that little episode, he had a cute smile on his face, like, hey, I'm getting complimented.
Oh, yeah. But my favorite of what happened in the media was this letter that Trump sent to the Speaker of the House, which multiple people emailed to me and said, wow, I'm reading this. It's almost like no agenda. I think that's good. But yeah, we've covered all these topics. Did you see this letter? This five?
Of course, it's a
five-page letter?
6-page letter. It's a classic example of the two dimensions.
Oh yeah. Oh,
because
totally.
everybody thought it was a letter of genius on one side. Oh, this guy really told her like it is, and the other was, oh my God, it's just a litany of excuses and lame. And it was amazing. The response to the letter was much more interesting than the letter itself. Although when I read the letter, I read it thinking, okay, this is a major letter that's going to go into the archives. And then 100 years from now, what's it going to be like when somebody reads it? And I think it's damning.
And there was a lot
Not
in
for
there.
Trump.
No, there was a lot in there. It was, it was pretty much everything I think that we've looked at. And I guess that puts us firmly in one dimension. But it just seems so cut and dry to me. And then when you hear the M5M response to it, of which I have 2 separate montages, and that really bore no resemblance to what was in this letter. I mean, it was pretty serious stuff. And he also ran down a list of accomplishments. But this is Supercuts 1 of the media coming unglued by this letter.
He sent an absolutely unhinged, deranged, 6-page tweet-like letter.
The tone of that letter is so discordant.
Some dubbing it a rambling, ranting screed of rage.
Yeah, the letter was nuts. I mean, it's just bizarre.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Just bizarre.
It is the letter of a wild man.
That letter is nutso.
But what scares me about the letter he's written,
it's crazy town.
He's trying to burn down the house in a letter for the ages.
and this is not rational. And
so out of line. It's so completely inappropriate. He is impugning her faith.
Honestly, this is almost like a letter that Kim Jong-un wrote.
Not even Steve King would say the kinds of things that he did.
Reads sort of like a bad breakup letter.
I don't think he wrote this letter. It doesn't even sound like him.
I have another series of that in a minute. But what the New York Times did was very interesting. They published the letter, and they marked it up with little orange numbered dots. So in the beginning of this letter, he says, the articles of impeachment introduced by the House Judiciary Committee are not recognizable under any standard of constitutional theory, interpretation, or jurisprudence. They include no crimes. Orange dot. Let's look over orange dot 2. The articles charge Mr. Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, but an impeachable offense does not have to be a specific crime. Thanks for the editorializing. Then, it goes on. Fortunately, there was a transcript of the conversation taken, and from the transcript, which was immediately made available, stop, says the New York Times, this is misleading. Mr. Trump's phone call with President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine occurred on July 25th. The White House released a reconstructed transcript of that conversation on September 25th. After the announcement, it just goes on and on. They couldn't just print the letter. They had to mark it up. Here's more of the unhingedness from the M5M.
What does it say about President Trump's fitness for office on the eve of his impeachment?
The audiences at home, read the letter as if Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi would actually have written that letter. Just have their voice in your heads. Read this like an authoritarian. It's as if an authoritarian wrote it.
Okay, let's try that. Do we do it as Mussolini or Hitler or Saddam Hussein? Do we even hear Saddam Hussein speak?
Well, no. Not in English.
This was interesting. Everyone, I'll do a little dictator. Everyone, you included, knows what is really happening. Your chosen candidate lost the election in 2016 in an electoral college landslide 306 to 227.
Fact check false.
New York Times jumps in. False. Mr. Trump won the electoral college with 304 votes to 227 votes after defections. Did you even know that? Were there defections?
No.
Yeah. So they fact check false him and say it was 304 votes.
Another one of his many lies.
Exactly. We continue.
This like an authoritarian. It's as if an authoritarian wrote it.
I think right now it's going to go down as a letter from a two-bit dictator to Banana Republic. It has that kind of quality to it.
Some might kindly describe it as fiery. Others would call it at times unhinged.
That letter that Donald Trump sent today was wackadoodle. It was gibberish. It was ugly.
Pelosi responded calling the letter sick. What is it about strong, powerful women that really puts Trump over the edge?
What? What?
Pelosi is a strong, powerful woman, and that's why it really put him over the edge, and why he had to, what
is it about strong,
write
powerful
such
women
an
that put
unhinged?
Trump over the edge?
Now, part of this is obviously intended to not, to frame, to use the phrase, to frame your opinion of the letter, because we know you're not going to read the letter. No one's reading the letter. You, John, you read it. I read it. I don't think many people in the troll room read it. Just, really read the whole thing. Some may, because it is, after all, no agenda. But the whole idea is make it, and that was clearly a talking point. It sounds like an unhinged dictator. Kim Jong-un, Saddam Hussein. I mean, they all got the same memo.
No, they're trying to group him in with Duterte and Bolsonaro. Yes. Now, the funny thing, the only thing that was kind of made some sense in that medley of complaints was Chris Matthews in there. You could tell these voices after you've done the show for
not hard to tell. Yeah.
Chris Matthews says, I don't even think he wrote that letter. Well, I don't think he wrote it either.
Well, no, of course not.
The letter was professionally. This is what actually kind of makes them sound unhinged. That letter, I'm taking this from an editorial perspective.
Of course.
I'm an editor.
Of course, yes.
Is extremely well-written, professionally written letter. There's a team that put that letter together.
Yeah. Would you say
I'm sure Trump was one of those? I might be wrong, but Trump seems to be one of those guys who wants to go over everything and make sure it's not. And so he may have added his own flavor.
Would you say, in fact, it was a perfect letter? Now, just to accentuate the point I'm making, though, this and it's just so disappointing that this is what it's come to. And I know this is going on. People send me links to articles. I know they didn't read them. You know how I know that? Because you send me something based on the headline, and it's not actually the story. There's a paragraph and a link to the original story. So I know that you didn't read it. You saw a headline, thought, I don't be interested. Let him figure it out. And that's the problem.
By the way, we really hate that. I hate it when I run into it myself. I ran into something yesterday. It was an article in one of these crappy papers that said, and it was Tony Blair says the Labor Party is done. It's through.
Right.
And there was a video clip down there. So I said, this is interesting. It might be good for the show.
Wow.
I play it. There's nothing in there. It wasn't even anything. It wasn't even close.
I want to accentuate how bad this is with a clip from The Daily Show. They went to a Trump rally.
What do you think about this impeachment?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Why is it bullshit?
Why? Because he didn't do anything.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. It's total nonsense.
And Trump has been grooming his supporters to push back on any impeachment talk with this simple demand.
All you have to do is read the transcript. Read the transcript. Read the transcript. It's all about the transcript.
Read the transcript, right.
Have you read the transcript?
I have not read it.
But we should read the transcript.
We should.
Look at the transcript, right?
Yeah, look at the transcript.
Have you read the transcript?
I trust the word of our president, yeah.
Read the transcript, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did you read the transcript?
I've read most of it, but there's nothing.
Skim the transcript.
Yeah. I don't have time for, reading all the, impeachment, all that bullshit, but.
How long have you been waiting out here for Donald Trump?
Since 8 o'clock.
Hours. A lot of free time.
Absolutely.
Read the transcript.
Read the transcript.
Yeah.
Did you read the transcript?
I don't have to. Everyone else has. I can read it if I need to, but
right, yeah. But it's important that everybody reads the transcript.
It is very important. Pay attention and think for yourself.
Yes, you have. But to be clear, you have not read the transcript.
I haven't. No.
Right. No. But it is just important.
Yeah. Don't be a sheep. Think for yourself.
But again, just to be very clear, you have not read it.
I have not read it.
You just trusted somebody else.
Correct.
To read it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure people at the Trump rally read the transcript, but how can you, as a hardcore supporter who literally says read the transcript, not have read the transcript yourself? Because that's the world we live in. No one gives a shit. And that is why we're here after 1,200 episodes, because we will read it and we will tell you what's in it from a different perspective, like you just did, John, with your editorial perspective. It was a great letter. It was beautifully written, well surmised. I don't know about this factual mistake of the number of the Electoral College. I'm not quite
sure. False.
It's exactly what
Fact
it is.
check false.
But otherwise, no one's reading this stuff. It's so disappointing, and all sides of the equation.
Well, you have to rely on that, especially the Democrats. Actually, both sides do it, but it's like you have to rely on people not actually looking at it. That's why this slam against this letter, a 6-page letter, which is actually a very entertaining, well-structured letter, professionally written. Was not what they're claiming is unhinged. There's nothing unhinged about it. It was very straight down to earth.
Yeah.
But if you keep saying it, and the Democrats who just think Trump's nuts anyway, and the whole place should be blown up, and all Republicans should die. They hate Republicans for whatever reason because they misgender people. I don't know why the real reason is. But this is how they get their job done. The job gets done, and that's what the Daily Show did.
Yes, exactly. The job gets done, and it's up to everybody. Well, you know what? As I always say, every country gets the government she deserves, and this is your own issue right here. You're not reading shit.
The government it deserves. You're misgendering the country.
No, it's a she. It's a she.
Well.
So I know you're dying to play a couple of clips because I know you dove into it. You got some. Now, one more observation. As I was listening, because I was partially watching but listening all the time, man, there's a lot of old coots in Congress.
Oh,
some
I've
people
got the old coot Sensenbrenner's clip.
Some people came like,
yeah, well, here's the one. Here's the old coot clip. This is impeached. This is Sensenbrenner, a old coot. It's a little longer than I thought it was, but they all give everybody 1 minute. They took 2 at the beginning of the whole thing. They gave Nancy Pelosi 1 minute. We'd like to go to Nancy Pelosi for 1 minute. She took 8.5 minutes.
You know, and I saw the same thing happen when they brought the majority or the minority House leader, I guess, for the Republicans, and he also got 1 minute, and he also spoke for about 8. So I guess the rules don't apply if you're the buona, if you're the big boss.
Right.
I guess
they're given leeway. I think it's called leeway.
All right, Sensenbrenner.
So let's look at these 2 phony articles of So let's look at these 2 phony articles of impeachment. First of all, abuse of power. The phone call in question had the president say, "Our country has been through a lot. I want you to do us a favor. Not me a favor, us a favor." And there he was referring to our country, the United States of America, not a personal political gain. He was not afraid to let this transcript go public, and he released the transcript almost immediately after the call. Now, the second article, impeachment, obstruction of Congress, it basically says that unless the president gives us everything we want and when we want it, then he's committed an impeachable offense. That's a bunch of bunk. The president has certain individual and privileges by virtue of his office. Whenever there's been a dispute between the executive and legislative branches heretofore, they've gone to court. And the Supreme Court a couple weeks ago said they would take jurisdiction over deciding whether the president had to comply with one subpoena relating to his tax returns. Now here, the Democrats have been bent to impeach the President of the United States before the court decides this. And this means that there's a rush job to do this. And why is there? Because they want to influence the 2020 elections. And they spent 3 years doing it. They spent millions of taxpayers' dollars, including the Mueller report, putting together this impeachment. And they also have had this Congress wrapped around impeachment and not doing their jobs until the dam broke this week. Stop this charade, vote no, and I yield back.
These people need media training. This is so horrible. Everyone's eyes are glazing over if they saw it at all, and it's certainly not going to be a soundbite anywhere else but here.
It's not even
media
a bite.
training.
It's too
people.
long to be a bite.
Media training. This is horrible. Because what he should have said is, You know how Nancy Pelosi talks about co-equal branches of government? Well, it's not just the legislative and the executive, i.e. Congress and the White House. There's also the judicial. And they're the ones that are going to determine what can and cannot be introduced. And that's not an obstruction of Congress, which is a pretty new term. So
you wouldn't be much better. Let's listen.
Thanks for the confidence. First of all, I'd be there. I'd be doing this on a podcast. Anyway,
well, I do have Nunes who did a pretty good job. Here's my favorite one. This is from the Democrat side, and this is impeach. And this is what you got to hear. This is impeach in Spanish.
Oh yeah, yeah, this is good.
Demócratas irnos para mejorar nuestra vida en nuestras comunidades. A nuestra querida patria, los Estados Unidos Americanos. And today I pray for God for his guidance in uniting our great nation. And with that, the gentleman from New York, I yield.
The gentleman will be required to provide a translation of your remarks.
I heard that too. It's like, what are you doing that for? Seriously? I mean, if you can vote in general elections, you have citizenship. You have taken the test. You can speak some basic English. So it's just pandering.
It's just showboating. It's showboating.
Well, it worked. It worked to a degree.
Well, it didn't work for me. Well, I didn't understand a word he said.
Here you are playing it, so it worked.
Matt Getz has one of the. This is, I believe, I haven't ordered this because I got an ISO out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is impeach Matt Getz tops.
This is not about the Ukraine. It's about power. Donald Trump has it, and House Democrats want it. And so with no crime, no victim, no evidence, no proof, no agenda.
Yes. In fact, I got that ISO too. Let me see. But I got the ISO. Did you get the ISO of it? Yes, I see you do. Let's see.
No crime, no victim, no evidence, no proof, no agenda.
No, wait a minute. I have a different one. Hold on a second. Where is it? Yeah, check this one.
Democrats have no agenda.
That's not the same clip, but I got that one too. I think that is Gates.
It could be.
Yeah.
Well, here it is in context. If you want to hear how no agenda really worked out, this is impeach Matt Gaetz in context.
And so with no crime, no victim, no evidence, no proof, no agenda for America, this impeachment charade marches on, following no rules and adhering to no sense of honor. Democrats have no agenda.
I think that's the end of show ISO right there. I mean, it's
Democrats have no agenda.
Yeah, I think it's pretty darn close.
You think that's better than mine? Listen, play mine again.
Okay. So you have
no crime, no victim, no evidence, no proof, no agenda.
It's too long. It's 4 seconds.
Oh my God!
Yes,
Democrats have no agenda.
I cut one down the other day, which was 6 seconds, and you bitched about it. You just can't be pleased.
Well,
Tina,
now,
take note.
Actually, stop this show right now. I can be pleased, and you have pleased me.
Excuse me?
You have pleased me as we are in receipt of our wedding gift.
Oh, the wedding gift.
And I must tell everybody, my partner, John C. I've sent him one gift in 12 years. I think it was a pizza stone.
A block of iron.
A block of iron. I don't even remember why I sent it. Maybe because I just thought it was funny you'd have to schlep that thing home from the P.O. box. But what shows up at our door? And I'll cut to the chase of. It's a beautiful DeWalt drill with a very nice 32-piece set drill bits. Now, besides that being a fabulous gift for newlyweds and homeowners, this gift is the gift that keeps on giving. And I will explain. It came in a box, and when you open this box, there was an object wrapped in the most elaborate bows and silver and swooshes and schwungs. I mean, this was honestly a little more exciting than the gift itself. The wrapping was outstanding. Now, it's the gift that keeps on giving because the wrapping paper consisted of tiny, minuscule bits of glitter, which will be in our house for the rest of our lives. Thank you very much. It's everywhere.
That was the mistake.
My clothes. It's Now, did Jay wrap this or Mimi? Who wrapped this?
That's Mimi's wrap job. Jay is good too, but Mimi is one of the best.
Job.
She's one of the best rappers I've ever run into.
Of course, we saved everything because I tried to open.
But the bows are reusable. That's the cool thing. We got some of those bows from 5-6 years ago.
I can't wait to give somebody this wrapping paper with the glitter. You're absolutely right. It's dynamite.
Yeah, well, the bows, you don't need the paper to be the same. But yes, and Jay learned to rap. I think Mimi was a rapper at a Macy's or some summer when she was younger, and she got into rapping, and she does these very elaborate gifts, and to the point where it's like too much. It's too much. And Jay got into it too, but Jay has a lot of art to hers, and so it's kind of even worse. But
people in the troll are like, wait a minute. Mimi's a better rapper than Jay-Z? Well, what is going on?
Yeah. For sure.
They don't understand.
Have you ever gotten a gift from Jay-Z? Doesn't know what he's doing. So
thank you very much. It was highly appreciated. Very nice gift. And I have some stuff.
It took so long to get to you.
The wrapping?
She was working. No, she had to wrap. She wrapped it up, but then she had to package it so the wrapping wouldn't get damaged in the shipping.
It's a drill.
It's a drill. I know.
You could drop it from the sky and it would be fine.
Throw it in a paper bag and ship it over there.
Oh, man. Thank you. That was very much appreciated. All right. Back to the order at hand.
I only have a few more of these but I had one that really got my attention. So C-SPAN was swamped, and they had their feed was down.
Oh, yes. They had all kinds of issues. Yep, I noticed that too. All kinds
of issues. My favorite issue, and this is actually, how long is this clip? I want you to play the whole thing because it's so funny. This is only a 53-second clip.
Yeah.
This is exactly the way it came across, but it's so interesting because you're going to hear, you think, oh my God, this is terrible. I can't listen to this. But then you get to hear like overlays of one thing and another, and it's actually kind of a fascinating exercise to get through these 53 seconds.
The evidence shows Judiciary Committee then evidence clear concluded that two articles to our free and fair elections were warranted, and our national security. The evidence shows that President the most powerful evidence of this pattern present has danger come from the president free himself. And fair election. In 2016, we heard him when he called on Russia evidence of this to interfere in our elections. The president he said, himself. Russia, if you're in 2016, we then repeated this call for election interference on the July 20th in our elections. Ukrainian he said, Russia, and we heard him again. He then repeated this call for election interference on the July 25th call.
It's driving me crazy.
And we heard him again support these on the White House lawn further.
Can I stop? I know exactly how that happened. I mean, we can do the exact same thing. Here we go.
On the July 25th
call. It's driving me crazy. Someone just left a fader open with the return, and it came through, and then it goes through again, and it doubles back. I mean, but the question is, which one did you leave open? So there must have been a sound engineer freaking out. Freaking out over that. Like,
I was listening to this going, oh my God.
Yeah.
But this particular part of this clip was so, I listened to it a couple of times. It's very entertaining because of her emphasis points. They keep coming to the fore. And they like the emphasis point from either one of the two feeds jumps ahead of the other one in some funny way. It's a very interesting clip. Put it in the show notes. People should listen to it carefully.
Oh, of course. It's always under clips.
I think there's some brainwashing thing you can do with stuff like this.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of it on C-SPAN radio as well. And that's why I heard some of these problems.
This is the... Okay, this is my last one. I'm just going to play this one because I like the... Nunes, I thought, did the best rap, and Nunes is like the grand enemy of Schiff, and I didn't put the whole thing in because Schiff, maybe I caught up, I don't think so, but after Nunes goes on and on and on berating everybody, I thought it was very succinct.
Trump's inauguration.
Oh, sorry.
Wait. Stop. After this is over, Schiff says, well, thank you for that. You got to listen to this.
Trump's inauguration, when the Democrats' semi-official mouthpiece, the Washington Post, declared the campaign to impeach President Trump has begun. For years, the Democrats tried to expel the president with the preposterous accusation that he was a Russian agent. As detailed by I.G. Horowitz, dishonest intelligence officials used fake allegations spread by the Democrats to gain approval of a spying operation against the Trump campaign. As they falsely accused the Trump campaign of colluding with Russians, the Democrats themselves colluded with Russians to manufacture these allegations in the infamous Steele dossier. They even tried to get nude pictures of Trump from Russian pranksters. With the Russian collusion hoax, the Democrats had everything going for them. Federal investigations run by Trump haters, an endless supply of media cheerleaders, and a galaxy of left-wing interest groups amplifying their ridiculous message. And yet, even with all those weapons at their disposal, the Russia conspiracy theory collapsed. So they quickly concocted Plan B. The Ukraine hoax was based on a supposed whistleblower who colluded beforehand with the Democrats. The Democrats then prevented Congress from interviewing the whistleblower while conducting bizarre secret depositions and selectively leaking testimony to discredited media hacks. The Democrats showcased the most useful witnesses in public hearings that somehow reduced support for impeachment. It's not easy to make a coup attempt boring, but the Democrats found a way. As it turns out, the American people don't think a routine phone call with a foreign leader is a good basis for ousting a U.S. president. The Democrats also put forth ever-changing accusations against the president, including campaign finance violations, quid pro quos, election interference, bribery, extortion. Eventually, they ended up with the ridiculous charges we consider today: abuse of power, an utterly meaningless term, and obstruction of Congress. One Democrat has pronounced the president guilty simply because he won't cooperate with their plan to railroad him.
Did you have a chance to speak with your LibJoes?
Not about this, but I do remember we talked about this some time back, and Nunes kind of mentioned it in passing, which was it was campaign finance or some other thing they're trying to nail Trump on from the Southern District of New York.
Oh, wasn't it his inaugural campaign?
Yeah, the inaugural
fund.
Budget.
I mean, I don't have to go very far to find a LibDev and how this is all working on them. My co-inventor of podcasting, Dave Weiner, it's easy because
he's kind of
but he's a very smart man, John. He's obviously incredibly smart.
Sweats a lot.
Yeah, I'll just read from his blog. One of the Republican talking points yesterday during the impeachment debate is that the Dems lost the election and want to undo it. This is incorrect. The Democrats won the last election, and that's why Trump is impeached. As they say, elections have consequences. I mean, that's a head shaker.
That's a good one. I'll give him credit for being creative.
Impeachment is not a horse race. It really doesn't matter.
And by the way, stop. Now that you mention it, I think a lot of Democrats think this is just desserts because he did lose the election. He's the improper, not my president.
Yeah.
He's a fraud. He's a fake. He's not the president.
Impeachment is not a horse race. It really doesn't matter who is president after the Constitution is gone. It can't be anyone but a Trump. They will rig the election so it always works out that way. As a preview, in the last election, Putin won in a landslide, 77% of the vote. Putin's opposition was not allowed to run. Welcome to the United States, assuming Trump is not removed from office.
You know, the funny thing, there's another irony here besides my favorite irony of ironies, which is were the demonstrations yesterday and the day before. And I got to remind me about that. But my favorite irony is Trump's an incompetent bonehead. He doesn't know what he's doing, but somehow he can rig elections.
Yeah.
He can somehow subvert the entire political system. He's a genius, but no, he's an idiot. Is he an idiot or is he a genius? This is the same thing you heard with Bush. Bush was a moron, but he was scheming. Well, morons don't usually scheme. But My favorite irony is the one they had all these. I tweeted about this. There's a bunch of these not riots, but just demonstrations all across the country. There were a couple in the Bay Area. In fact, I think I have a list of them here. In fact, I have a clip. Oh, let's play this clip, and I'll give you my thing. This is the impeach democracy. This is the Democracy Now! Wrap on the impeachment plus the riots.
The House of Representatives is set to hold a historic vote today on 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump. The articles accuse President Trump of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. They center on how President Trump withheld military aid to Ukraine to pressure the Ukrainian president to investigate Trump's political rival, Joe Biden, and how Trump then tried to cover up his actions to thwart a congressional inquiry. After a 6-hour debate on the House floor, the Democratic-controlled House is expected to vote for impeachment by the end of the day, which would mark only the 3rd time in U.S. history that a president has been impeached. Today's vote comes after the House Rules Committee approved the terms of today's debate, which will allow no amendments on the floor. Trump lashed out directly at the vote Tuesday, calling the attempt to remove him an attempted coup.
They know it's a hoax, it's a witch hunt, and it's just a continuation. It's been going on now for almost 3 years. And it probably started before I even won the election, based on what we're finding out with the insurance policy quotes and other things. So it's a disgrace.
Trump lashed out at Democrats Tuesday in a 6-page letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, accusing her, quote, of declaring open war on American democracy. Trump called the impeachment process an illegal partisan attempted coup. He also falsely claimed more due process was afforded to those accused in the Salem witch trials. Meanwhile, protesters held rallies calling for Trump's impeachment in cities across the country, including Boston, New Orleans, Houston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Tucson, Austin, Seattle, Des Moines, and here in New York.
Yeah, the impeachment parties, which according to Banyan, is orchestrated by the forthcoming Clinton campaign. I thought that was an interesting observation.
Well, the official people that were responsible for organizing, making sure that it was coordinated, because I asked on Twitter, some guy said this, and the guy said, "Oh, this is making all this." I said,
"What?"
The guy, I said, "It makes a difference." Because I'd like to know. I just point of order. I mean, what difference does it make to you? Who was it? And he said, well, it was MoveOn.org.
Right, which is a Clinton motivated and funded thing. MoveOn started with them.
Let's go back to the beginning of MoveOn.org.
In
fact, even Eric, who I discussed this with, didn't know the irony. Nobody knows the irony of this.
Wasn't it after Clinton's impeachment?
Yes, the MoveOn.org thing was move on from impeachment. Yes. We don't need to talk about impeachment. This impeachment thing is hurting the country.
Yes, I told you.
Yep. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. And so they're organizing this. Are you kidding me?
That's very ironic. That, ladies and gentlemen, is irony. Yes. Good one. Oh, that's nuts.
What a bunch of hypocrites.
Well, I also watched a little bit of I watched PBS NewsHour. Actually, someone sent me a screen capture, which I put in the show notes under 25 or 45. The PBS NewsHour was doing a live Periscope, so you could watch their Periscope video of the impeachment debate. Now, there was a caption. So when you first fire it up, then it'll give you the title of whatever that Periscope is. So if you do for Scott Adams, he might say, like impeachment derangement or whatever. That little title will be there as it's connecting to the feed.
Yeah.
So I don't know which millennial did this for the PBS NewsHour. And here I'm going to read this caption as the caption is of the Periscope actually connecting to the feed. The caption is, "Watch a racist, treasonous man-child get fired live. # impeachment day. # Trump." On PBS NewsHour. And the PBS NewsHour is right there.
Did you get a screen capture of that?
Yes, I told you. I have a screen cap of it. Pretty cool, right?
Oh, that's fantastic.
No bias here, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the no bias thing also extends to the Washington Post, who had a celebration party. They had to take it down to post from Twitter. Yay! And then the other one was this Rubin woman, the one who claims to be the conservative blogger on the Washington Post. She says that we should make this, and this is I clipped this one too. I took a screenshot of her. is a tweet. She said that we should make December 18th a national holiday as impeachment day.
Yeah, of course.
And people should be required to read the articles of impeachment in the town squares across the country.
Yeah, just for yucks, I'm going to give you the link to that in your Skype there if you have time to take a look at it.
Oh, that's going in the newsletter.
Now,
oh my God.
Now I need to get back to
This is really bad.
I put it in the troll room too. Isn't that fantastic? Now, it could also have been someone at Periscope. I don't know, because they've had weird screen things before. You know, like when you start it up, you have to look real quick. It says made proudly by immigrants in America or something. There's all kinds of social justice warrior stuff around Periscope. And
this is a real problem when you have social justice warriors that have snuck into your company. The worst part is that they will just bring more of their friends in. Yeah. So you contaminate.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And I hate this, just block out a whole group of people, but I think it's easier to do than it is block by sex or by gender or by anything else.
Or by pedophile.
It's the social justice warriors are self-identify. You can always figure out who they are if you do the right kind of questioning, and with legal questioning is really important in California because you get sued if you don't hire somebody.
Yeah.
But you got to keep these people, all of them, the noodle boy types. You have to keep them out of your company. They should not be employed.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very important. I'm telling you, it's very important. These people they're not
it's a sickness.
Good people. They're bad people.
Yeah, it will grow like a sickness inside your organization. I'm going to go back to the M5M. First, Judy, just a quick little funny sound bite. This was Congressman Crow. And he kept saying at the end of the day throughout this interview, at the end of the day, at the end of the day. But then after one at the end of the day, he said something even funnier.
The constitutional law professor who testified before the House Judiciary Committee on behalf of the Republicans wrote today that this is the first impeachment process to go forward without, in his words, a recognized crime having been committed.
Well, you know, there certainly are some folks that I think could have that debate. But at the end of the day, let's not be distracted by what actually happened, what we know happened. And
don't be distracted by what actually happened. Did I hear that wrong?
Yeah, at the end of the day, don't be distracted by what actually happened. Don't believe your lying eyes.
No, don't believe in all that. But I thought Jeffrey Toobin on CNN was the funniest. Because he's now coming to the realization that there is an actual story out there about Burisma and Hunter Biden and perhaps Joe Biden, but Hunter, that is a real story. And Jeffrey Toobin has now he's gone from a constitutional lawyer to a journalist. And as a journalist, he doesn't know what to do. He's torn. You know, what do we do with this story?
You know what struck me about this hearing was how Donald Trump, in a way, has already won. How much did we hear about Hunter Biden? Over and over again about Hunter Biden. That's what the Republicans are talking about constantly. And, you know, there are questions about Hunter Biden's behavior. And so, I mean, this incredible shift of emphasis. And, you know, it's going to be a real challenge for us as journalists to decide how much to follow along with this.
I'm sorry. I can't get over him saying, for us as journalists, please.
And, you know, it's going to be a real challenge for us as journalists to decide how much to follow along with this.
To suppress this obviously good story, this fabulous story that could really make a career. It's going to be really tough for us not to pick it up.
And, you know, it's going to be a real challenge for us as journalists to decide how much to follow along with this. But the idea that we are sitting here debating the country, the House Judiciary Committee, is debating the impeachment of the President of the United States, and over again we get how all these questions about the behavior of Hunter Biden, the President's perhaps most likely opponent, the son of the... And you know, I just don't know what our responsibility is as journalists, because it's not the point, but this is the news, and this is what's there.
Yeah, and as journalists, what to do? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. MSNBC, CNN, Fox, you're all being run around by an actual news organization who is doing real reporting, and they are doing good reporting. And people will eventually walk away from your bullshit. Seriously. I mean, it was truly the same movie on two different screens, just switching from Fox to MSNBC or CNN. You know, Fox is the one side. Regardless of what you believe, it's not real. They're just giving opinion. It's not news, it's opinion. You know who's doing news? One American News. They interviewed the fired prosecutor from Ukraine, and they're learning some interesting stuff.
Joe Biden and Hunter Biden pop up. Tell us how their names are involved in these criminal cases you were looking into. How is Joe Biden and Hunter Biden's name involved?
Derkach goes at length talking about the political context in which Burisma was operating, evading taxes and giving away illegal licenses to certain individuals. At the end of it, Ukrainian tax dollars were stolen and money laundered through Burisma. Prosecutors presented before Ukrainian parliament an official indictment showing a clear trail of money laundering going through Burisma and to Hunter Biden. Derkach also mentions how it has been leaked from the prosecutor's office that an open case currently is looking into $900,000 found paid to Joe Biden from Ukraine for, quote, consulting services. But the case is reportedly still ongoing, and we don't yet have access to this document. Just days after the Burisma announcement, the prosecutor was fired. Clearly, Burisma is still being protected.
Okay, they got the little creepy music there, which I could do without. But that's a little more than I'm getting from anywhere else. And they're actually sitting down with people and talking to them, the actors who are mentioned in this whole saga.
I have to assume there's editorial meetings going on at in the big boys' offices.
Yeah.
And they're beside themselves about this story. And One American News, those guys are going to scoop the New York Times and the Washington Post and the LA, everybody.
Yeah.
The One American News is going to scoop CNN and NBC and ABC and CBS. One of those big boys is going to break ranks, and they're going to go after this story, and everybody else is going to be left flat-footed, and the questions will begin. Why didn't you do this? You heard about it. The president brought it up. It's been in the news. They've been talking about it during the hearings. And you did what? Sit on your ass and did nothing?
Well, New York Times would be the one.
This is going to be a massive scandal if, and I believe it probably is true because it doesn't make sense any other way. And these people are going to have to pay the piper. This is not going to be fun to watch for them. Well, it's going to be fun for us. We love it.
Oh yeah. Well, again, Lindy Hop Graham is still saying very clearly, I'm going to tell the president no to his witness request. Lindy Hop does not want a show trial, and of course he doesn't. There's pictures of him with John McCain and the ambassador. Who was fired, the redhead, getting medals from the Ukrainian government, hanging out, having a good time. Of course, he was buddies with McCain, and he went along for the ride, and he got sucked in, and his head is on the chopping block. So he doesn't want this trial. I don't know what Mitch. I'm telling you that the $7 billion of U.S. taxpayer money, whatever it was, that went in and got lost, has gone into pockets of family members of Democrats and Republicans. And let's not even start to look at the China thing with Hunter Biden, because that was a little bit bigger. So the corruption is what they're all afraid of. And CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, many people are in on it. The FBI, look, the FBI is still J. Edgar Hoover. A leopard doesn't change its spots. It's still a bunch of sex-crazed nut jobs who want to honeypot people, get mentally retarded people and jack them up with fake bombs and then string them along for months and then call, whoa, another win against terrorism. CIA has taken over many parts of the Pentagon. This is not my uncle's CIA anymore. These are operatives of whatever mission they're on to control everything. Well, globalists, let's just call it that, make it easy. Just globalists, and they shut everybody else up. And I think you need another 3 terms of Trump maybe to uncover it all. But a little bit would be nice. For instance, One America News once again about the so-called whistleblower.
Yeah, it's a very interesting case how this is unfolding, and it's something that the press generally is not really digging into the way they should. But Mr. Ciaramella actually came out of Yale, which one of the Ivy League schools are the traditional recruitment grounds for the agency, at least in the past. That has evolved somewhat recently, but he came out of that background and also was one of the street protest guys. So he was dedicated left-wing street protesting guy that was actually discovered in supporting protesting for a Muslim Brotherhood professor at the university. Right. And that's how he came to the surface. From there, he was picked up and recruited back into the CIA, where he eventually ended up at NSC. Along the way in his career, he'd had a little bit of experience with Ukraine, nothing in depth, but some experience there. And so from that, based on that, while at NSC, he became their go-to guy for Ukraine. That was how he came onto the scene and got involved in this process. When he was picked up and brought into the CIA and put in on the fast track, that he was handpicked by former director John Brennan. Now, we've all talked about John Brennan before. He had a friendly attitude to Muslim Brotherhood during that period under the previous Obama administration. And so this is a young man that would have fit that career track and type of personality that they were looking for. So absolutely, he was handpicked by John Brennan to go from the CIA over to the White House. NSC, National Security Council, is a White House job. So to have made that transition, it would not and cannot have been done without at least the knowledge and acquiescence of the then director of the CIA, John Brennan.
Nice little Muslim connection there. Excellent. Yeah. Well done. I mean, I'm surprised these guys are doing something that's real and that's information that is usable. I was a former CIA guy, actually, who was, although now a consultant, so God knows what he's into. Meanwhile, what is the M5M doing? Well, Rachel Maddow had to have something going on. Oh, here's her in-depth reporting as she brings on Lisa Page, one half of the sexting duo of the FBI. And she's just going with, I mean, you'll listen to this minute and a half of her and Rachel. It's a great
clip.
Yeah, I mean, she just telling Rachel.
Full of crap.
Yeah, and Rachel's like, oh, okay. Oh, I get it. Yeah, sure.
And Rachel's got that those furtive eyes where their brows are in and kind of turned up in the middle. And, that look she's got. Oh.
Well, it has little to do with journalism as far as I'm concerned.
In terms of the text messages and the allegations that have been made against you, you've sort of explained yourself in putting those text messages in greater context in terms of what they meant and the way they were used.
Please tell your story. Put them in greater context. Please give us the bull crap that you're going to do now.
Against you. Can you explain to us tonight what was meant by, for example, the insurance policy text message? So this is you and Peter Strzok texting about the prospect that President Trump is going to be elected, the unlikely prospect.
Right. I mean, it's an analogy. First of all, it's not my text, so I'm sort of interpreting what I believe he meant back 3 years ago.
What?
She says it's an analogy. That cracked me up. How in any known world is calling something an insurance policy an analogy?
Well,
it's just not. I mean, it could be a metaphor, it could be a simile. There's things it can be.
Yeah.
It could be as symbolic but it's not an analogy. An analogy to what? Does she ever really say no?
Yes, no. Sorry. Well, she does actually, except it's not the definition of an analogy, but she will tell you what she meant. It actually means insurance policy. It's not an analogy. It's exactly what it said.
Peter Strzok texting about the prospect that President Trump is going to be elected, the unlikely prospect.
Right. I mean, it's an analogy. First of all, it's not my text, so I'm sort of interpreting what I believe he meant back 3 years ago. But we're using an analogy. We're talking about whether or not we should take certain investigative steps or not based on the likelihood that he's going to be president or not, right? You have to keep in mind, if President Trump doesn't become president, the national security risk, if there is somebody in his campaign associated with Russia, plummets. You're not so worried about what Russia's doing vis-a-vis a member of his campaign if he's not president,
Because you're not going to have access to classified information. You're not going to have access to sources and methods in our national security apparatus. So the insurance policy was an analogy. It's like an insurance policy when you're 40.
She's a lawyer and she doesn't even understand the meaning of analogy. That's the sad thing. She's a lawyer.
Don't expect to die when you're 40, yet you still have an insurance policy.
So don't just hope that he's not going to be elected and therefore not press forward with the investigation hoping, but rather press forward with the investigation just in case he does get in there.
Exactly.
What about the text message
that... tell her, right, Rachel, what she's thinking. Good one.
Yeah, well, she's totally leading.
Mind reader.
Yeah.
Expect to die when you're 40, yet you still have an insurance policy.
So don't just hope that he's not going to be elected and therefore not press forward with the investigation hoping, but rather press forward with the investigation just in case he does get in there.
Exactly.
What about the text message that in which you and Strzok were talking about your sort of fear that Trump would be elected, and he said, no, we won't let it happen?
I mean, by we, he's talking about the collective we.
Oh.
Like-minded, thoughtful, sensible people who were not going to vote this person into office.
John Legend.
Expect to die when you're 40, yet you still have an insurance policy.
No, I'm sorry. Somehow I took us back. I didn't mean to do that. Here we go.
Trump would be elected, and he said, no, we won't let it happen.
I mean, by we, he's talking about the collective we. Like-minded, thoughtful, sensible people who were not going to vote this person into office. You know, obviously, in retrospect, do I wish he hadn't sent it? Yes. It's been mutilated to death, and it's been used to bludgeon an institution I love, and it's meant that I've disappointed countless people. But this is a snapshot in time, carrying on a conversation that had happened earlier in the day that reflected a broad sense of he's not going to be president. We, the democratic people of this country, are not going to let it happen.
Oh, that's what it meant. We,
the
democratic people. What does that even mean, the democratic people of the country?
I don't know. A lot of Republicans didn't like him.
No, but what is the democratic people? Not Democrats, she said, the democratic people.
People who believe in elections and people who don't, which would be the Republicans. I don't know. It means nothing what she said.
Right,
her whole blather. And by the way, she was made up so much. Yeah. I looked at her and I couldn't recognize her. The pictures we've seen of her roaming around the halls of whatever, the FBI, it looked like a different person. I'm not even sure this was her.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. It was her, though. I'm pretty sure. Meanwhile, tonight,
what is the point? What does she gain from coming on?
I think. Well,
this is dumb.
No, I think it's a precursor for a possible Senate trial. She's also apparently suing somebody over these. I think she's suing the FBI over the text messages being released.
Oh, you mean the organization that she just said she loves so dearly?
Yeah.
She's suing the organization she loves so dearly?
I believe so, yes. Meanwhile, tonight, we have another Democratic debate, which is just, it's like boom, boom, boom.
It was canceled.
What?
Well, I thought it was canceled. I thought that Tulsi bailed out, and then everybody else is now walking across the picket line.
It's not canceled. No, it's tonight. It'll be in Los Angeles. Believe me, it's not canceled if it's in Los Angeles. And we have 7 on the stage now: Biden, Sanders, Warren, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Yang, and Steyer. Quite a white group there. A nice.
Yang's not white.
No, but I said a white group.
Warren's an Indian.
True. I forgot to say that. Yes. Well, anyway, the mainstream press is deeming it very, very white. And in order to be on the stage, and actually Kamala Harris qualified, but of course she dropped out. To be on the stage, you must have contributions from 200,000 unique donors. You know, over a 12-year period, we probably have had 200,000 unique donors, so we could kind of qualify. It's just not in the right period. 2 polls, you must be polling at least 6%. Well, you can buy that. See Steyer. 4 polls at 4%. What is this bull crap? Jesus. Anyway, no, it's so stupid. It is so dumb. So, and I'm sure tonight will all be about Trump and about the impeachment and about, of course, because we have 1, 2, 3. We have what? 3, 4? No, we have 3 senators who will be in there. Wait, Klobuchar is a senator, Warren's a senator, Sanders is, so 3. 3 senators who will eventually, and this is mind-blowing, talk about your meddling in elections. So you have a guy who wants to run for re-election in 2020, so that's an election, and 3 people who are running against him will now actually be deciding if he's thrown out of office and in jail altogether.
Oh, they'll recuse themselves, I'm sure.
I don't think so somehow. But that's how insane. It's almost as insane as something else I realized. Around this time, once again, you get the stories of package thieves. And even the guy who did the glitter bomb, he's done another one of these videos. And it's quite disturbing how many people steal Amazon packages from porches. But what I realized is, how twisted is it that we're watching news reports about people stealing Amazon packages recorded on a camera owned by Amazon?
Yeah.
I mean, it's mind-blowing shit that's going on. It's mind-blowing.
That's marketing for you.
Those guys, they got it on all ends. Someone is really doing a good job there. So that, it's kind of bizarre. And once again, the machine is in full overdrive. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is the black vote. And when I say black, I mean African Americans. I personally would prefer to say ADOS, something we've learned here, the American descendants of slavery. That's the vote that can make all the difference. Certainly, Wall Street Pete has gotten a lot of heat. Wall Street Pete got the heat because the black people don't like him, according to the mainstream. I don't know if it's true or not. Even Saturday Night Live made jokes about it. It wouldn't take much loss of, let's just call it the black vote, to screw up any Democrat. And you recall that when Kamala Harris announced she was running, the ADOS movement was kind of born, and they started a Twitter campaign and YouTube it's real people, YouTube campaigns saying, hold on a second, she's not African American. She is Indian Jamaican. That's fine, but she's not going to represent us like we let Obama represent us, who also wasn't African American. And immediately Joy Reid and MSNBC came into action. And what did they say? Oh, yes, these tweets are by bots. These are just bots. There's nothing real. It's just Russian bots, probably. Just bots trying to bring down the black woman. So they're back now, even with Kamala gone. And it is the mission is to promote black women as being in charge of the vote of the household. Black men, you don't know what you're doing. The black women are the ones we got to go after. And just last week, it's the same woman with, what's her name again? Hold on, Joy. It was Joy Reid with Shireen Mitchell. So, months ago they were talking about it being bots who were these ADOS bots against Kamala. Now it's bots once again, apparently.
So one of the things that you talk about, both in the report, and I've spoken with you about this before, is pushing out negative information about a candidate that's been selected, to be targeted, to turn black voters against them. But it's who they're using as the voice, quote unquote, the digital voice, are supposedly also black people who are spreading that message. And here's what you write about fake accounts that are not necessarily really black people, but who seem to be black people who are saying, hey, Kamala's a cop, or this person is bad for black people. Quote, fake accounts pretending to be black women matter, not only in the disinformation campaigns, but in every election. There has been a constant number, you write, of fake accounts posing as black women since 2013. These fake accounts, which pretend to be black women, seem to be real people with real concerns. They connect with the American black community online, attempting to learn black vernacular and key issue areas. What will be the point of creating fake accounts who appear to be black women specifically?
So this can't be real, because of course no black woman ever would go against a Democrat, and this cannot be. It must be a bot. And somehow they've learned, it must be some of that AI we've been hearing about, They've learned how to actually tweet just like black women. It's astounding.
Because if we know, as we've seen, that the ones who are the most valuable to the Democratic Party is black women. We have identified at least 5 existing campaigns that are focused on getting black people to do only one thing, not vote for the Democrats.
And can you name one of those 5 campaigns? I mean, we put up from the report that you're saying that there's a conversation about reparations that has to do with it. There's a criminal justice conversation. Yes. There's an immigration. Go on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Reparations, immigration, reparations, immigration, and anything that has to do with the criminal justice system. So the reason that the targeting of Kamala around being a cop is important is because anything that hinges on criminal justice becomes a divisive issue.
Very quickly, we're out of time, but how can people tell the difference between the real, genuine thing of Black Lives Matter and the ones that are just
pay attention,
designed to make you not vote? How do you even tell?
So you can tell right away by the language that they use most of the time. But if you see anyone who says basically tangibles or you're not getting our vote without us getting something back, you should start to pause and take a better look at what they're saying. Better look at those accounts and seeing what they're saying.
So the term tangibles is an absolute thing in the black community. Tangibles means if you're going to talk reparations, there's got to be something tangible, not something you give to a whole bunch of people. And I know this because I do a show with Mo, so I've learned this. So these are 2 black women, regardless of their actual cultural heritage, doesn't matter. They're black, telling black women, don't listen to those other black women. They're bots. I mean, that is what is happening. To me, it's very disturbing that this is on television.
It's on CNN.
No, this was MSNBC.
I thought, what's her name was on CNN?
No, Joy Reid is MSNBC.
Oh, I thought that was Joy Reid.
It is Joy Reid, MSNBC.
Oh, she's being interviewed by, what? Wait a minute.
Joy Reid is on MSNBC. I watch this all day.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Joy Reid was on CNN.
No, never. She's never been on CNN. And the Shireen Mitchell is... she's part of the Digital Sisters, major support from Open Society Institute. I mean, come on, we all know what's going on here, but I don't know. Maybe this election, the American people will figure it out. But I'm not holding my breath.
And well, you shouldn't.
Oh, brother. All right. You got anything else for...
I have a couple of just kind of funny clips that still relate to the impeachment.
Oh, okay. I thought you had maybe some 2020 stuff. Impeachment is good, too.
Well, let's play a couple of these clips. This clip is just because it's part of the, I guess, just the hypocrisy of everything. This is Adam Schiff. This is Schiff early on. This is Schiff at the beginning of the year. I think this is in March, before anything started up. And talking about how you couldn't really do an impeachment if it was just Democrats. You need the Republicans.
Oh yeah, you got to have everybody on board, sure.
And he's very thoughtful about all this, and he goes on, and it's just like a head shaker.
The country through the trauma of a failed impeachment. An impeachment, a bipartisan process, would have to be extraordinarily clear and compelling. I don't foreclose at the possibility that the Mueller investigation will produce that, or that our own will. But I think the Speaker is absolutely right. In its absence, an impeachment becomes a partisan exercise doomed for failure. And I see little to be gained by putting the country through that kind of wrenching experience. As I've often remarked in the past, the only thing worse than putting the country through the trauma of an impeachment is putting the country through the trauma of a failed impeachment.
What an idiot. And then we have this one.
Thanks, Schiff.
What an idiot. It's just unbelievable. Then we have this one, which is Jamie Raskin, the kind of the...
Oh, yeah. With the I'm just going to say it, pubic hair on his head. I'm just going to say it.
He is... this is before This is before the inauguration. This is, people say, well, the Washington Post, they ran an article, 3 days, right after Trump was inaugurated, the impeachment began. It was on 2 days later. This is before the inauguration.
I want to say this for Donald Trump, who I may well be voting to impeach over the next year or two. But wait. I want to say this.
So he got drowned out by the applause. This is why Pelosi is so worried about the Democrats spiking the ball on this impeachment vote. Because it's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. It's rude. And here's the guy. The guy hasn't even done one thing in office. And Raskin is already voting to impeach him. He's worse than the Al Green and Maxine Waters of the world. I mean, that to me is just irresponsible, especially for a legislative guy. While we're on the topic, since I get these out of the way. This is Al Green, who came on Democracy Now! To discuss this.
If we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected. If we don't impeach him, he will say he has been vindicated.
That's Houston Congressmember Al Green repeatedly calling for impeachment from the House floor. Joining us now on this historic day, what many are calling Impeachment Day.
Oh, do we have Al Green on the show?
Yeah.
What many are calling Impeachment Day. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Congressmember Green. Your thoughts on this day?
Well, thank you for having me, Ms. Goodman. This is a day for us to reflect upon love of country. We are at the crossroads of accountability. Either we will hold the president accountable for his impeachable behavior, or we will be held accountable. But as important as that is, it will also mean that we will lose some of our democracy. A president has to have guardrails. A president has to know that there are boundaries. If the president perceives that there are no boundaries and does what he has concluded is within his all power granted under Article 2, then I think we will lose some of our democracy and we march toward a monarchy. We didn't buy into a monarchy. We bought into a democracy. And as Franklin said, we have this republic if we can keep it. I plan to do all that I can to help us keep the republic that I love.
I mean, what's interesting, Congressman Green, is you have been calling for this repeatedly for the last 2 years for different reasons, among them racism. Can you talk about what it means at this point that it has been narrowed, these two charges against Trump, to abuse of power and obstruction of Congress? Are you satisfied with this?
Initially, Ms. Goodman, the call was for his obstruction as it relates to the investigation into his campaign, the Russian intrusion into the campaign and into our election. You might recall that Mr. Comey was fired summarily, and the president went on national TV at prime time and confessed that he was considering the investigation. But I then moved on because I saw the level of bigotry emanating from the presidency. I saw the various invidious phobias that he tended to project and to push. I saw how the country was starting to become more unsettled.
Oh, God. All right. I'm just going to say it one more time. 80% of Congress, and that's the House of Representatives and the Senate, consists of people 65 and older. Some deep in their 70s. They still think this is how you run the country. You give an interview, you tell them some bull crap, you go on, you give an interview to the New York Times, do the 60 Minute, and you're done. Unfortunately, for quite a while now, we've been able to read documents ourselves, get stuff on the internet. They still think that it's run that way. They don't realize that it's changed. Now, it may not have changed enough for this upcoming election, but I think that a lot of people are going to get railroaded out. I hope so. Get these people out.
Some of them, like Al Green, are so locked in. This is like the Republicans who are we're going to vote out Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco
it's a shithole.
Yes, and they all vote for Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah,
and I mean, to an extreme.
Isn't that
you could run somebody against her, and it would be 75% for Nancy Pelosi.
Isn't that Munchausen's disease?
Well,
when you love your captor and all they do. I mean, it's
just Stockholm syndrome.
Okay, one of those
messing them up.
Munchausen Stockholm syndrome. It's all bad.
Yeah, well, these people are bad.
Well, with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who literally just put the C in CNN's Joy Reid show, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Although in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to all of our trolls in the troll room who have been with us. The troll room has been with us for over a decade, almost as long as the show itself exists. And you can find the troll room by going to noagendastream.com, where you can also listen to the same thing all the trolls are listening to at that moment and troll along. And sometimes you can have some fun. You can pass a message on to whoever's pronounsticating. It's a fabulous place to be, and it's a great community. And let me see how many trolls we got here today. Let me see. On the stream today, nice, 1,068. Not bad for the second Thursday of the week. And thank you, trolls, for everything you've done for us over the past 1,200 episodes. Also, a big in the morning to the artist for episode 1199. We titled that Slackified. This was brought by Larry Dane, who has done multiple submissions. I don't think we ever chose one of his pieces of art, and it was a very interesting one. It was a silhouette of clearly Hillary Clinton, which by itself, I don't think I've seen an iconic Hillary silhouette anywhere.
This was why it was interesting. We had trouble picking art for this show, but Adam kept gravitating toward this piece, not because he liked it, but he was fascinated, and I have to agree with him. I wasn't at first, but he was, because I just kind of took it for granted. But when he mentioned it, he was fascinated by this silhouette, because this silhouette really brought forward Hillary. It was Hillary.
Yep.
And it wasn't like a normal silhouette, like a profile of some head or anything that you would normally think of. It was a body silhouette, and for some reason, it just said Hillary.
And then the blood splatters was just bonus.
The blood splatter I caught. Well, that's what made it for me.
Blood splatter. Way to go. Yeah.
So we picked it.
Imagine doing that on a show where you have advertisers. Somehow I think that wouldn't last very long. Thank you very much, Larry. Larry Dane. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com is where you can find all the artwork our artists work on diligently. And if you want, you can submit your own. A lot of this is used, as John already mentioned, in artwork for our newsletter. Use art for pre-announcing the show when we go live. And some of it also appears on merchandise, T-shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more at noagendashop.com, which I think that they're doing a whole new overhaul of the shop. So I'm excited to see what they come up with. And in that case, everybody gets a piece of it. The artist, most importantly, as well as the shop guys, and even the show itself receives some of that. As part of our Value for Value network, we've been doing this since pretty much the beginning of the show. It's the only way that we have seen, the only path we saw really to be able to discuss the topics we want to discuss, because it's inherently not brand safe. And it's not brand safe to have, case in point, a silhouette of Hillary with blood splatters. It's just not brand safe. Funny? Yes. Brand safe? No. So we chose a different method. It's a very long, slow road. It took us a while to get up to speed. We're sustaining, and I look forward to at least another 10 more episodes of the best podcast in the universe after this 1,200 episode, for which we would like to thank our executive producers and associate executive producers right now.
Indeed. Starting with Sir Anonymous of Lower Slobovia, of Dogpatch in Lower Slobovia.
Yowza. Always
Now,
looking forward to his notes.
He came up with a note and an offer.
Oh, this is
I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to read this. I've read it already, and I don't fully understand it, but then I'm starting to get it. We're going to have to analyze this because it's important because he donated $1,301.
Is this the same amount or is this another code amount?
I've never seen this amount before, ever.
1301.
Yeah, we should write these down.
Probably
spells out "screw you" or something like that.
You haven't been just writing down the code since the minute he came on the scene?
I'm not a code breaker.
Oh, all right. Outstanding.
Thank you to all the producers that keeps this program running. The V for V model works. For many years, I have copied promotions. If you want to improve attendance in your small third world village schools, do what the madrasas do. Offer a free lunch so the father does not have to feed the children, especially the young daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Walmart's, I don't know what that tells you something, but I'm not sure that.
Wow.
Walmart's anonymous payoff of layaway debt is an idea worth copying. This is where it's going to lead, by the way.
Okay.
Any woman, girl, / female donating at least $55.10 and not a smoking hot wife, girlfriend sent by others, but actually sent by the woman to be titled, will be given credit for my monthly donation, beginning with the donations through December 2020.
Wow. So wait a minute. So this is a Dame Drive, essentially.
It's part of the Dame Drive, and he's going to give away 12 Dame hoods.
And so what are the requirements? Oh, this is good. This is good.
One caveat. Well, I will not insist on an abaya, ABAYA, nor a hijab at the round table to retain the credit. Wait
a minute. He's not going to bring a religion into the equation.
That's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Although he's mentioned the madrasa gambit, which I think is actually a pretty good idea. One caveat, while I will not we'll go on. To retain the credit, the individual must donate at least another $50 within a month. I would do a lower amount, but we need transparency for all the producers. What if there are no women donors the random week I donate? Go back 1 week and so designate one. Otherwise, it is just this is like the instructions on Parcheesi.
It also sounds like a Trump the donation pitch. 3-time match. I don't understand. Okay. So
otherwise, it's just another producer credit for Dogpatchians and Lower Slobovians. Divide the credit equally if there are more than one woman donor with the requisite donation, but then again, each must donate another at least $50 within a month to retain the credit from this offer. Hopefully, this will increase the number of Dame Lady producers. Separately and for fun, I am sharing a presentation preamble I had vetted for a specific situation. So this is part of a speech of his. Now, Ned, we're going to have to talk about this for a second to figure out what he's up to.
Yeah.
Now, here's this thing. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Terms I use to reflect social behavior in this presentation and not gender. So, okay, this is making the excuse. He's already going rogue with ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I am going to circulate to each of you a list of identifiers from a computer-generated printout that came from your administration. I understand the identifiers may no longer be valid. However, to be on this computer-generated printout, I was told the identifiers were extracted from verified sources authorized by the beings on the printout. I have 24 beings listed using these identifiers. If the identifier is no longer valid, please correct the identifier for my records. For those using symbols or identifiers that are not easily understood or pronounced, please provide a phonetic pronunciation that the instructor may use.
Okay.
NJNK, that's ends the note.
All right. Could you break that down to me in something I can pop in my mouth and understand?
No.
So how does it work?
Well, I don't know what the point of this last part was, which was apparently something he gives at the beginning of some talks he gives somewhere or whatever he talks about. We don't know this guy or anything about him. But he wants to give a damehood a month out.
Okay, that I'm digging. And
he's really expecting the dames to contribute double nickels on the dime plus $50. So in 2 separate donations.
Okay.
And they have to be within a week, one side or the other, of his donation when it comes in.
Okay, so if you hear Dog Patch, and is this the first one?
No, it starts in January.
So if Dog Patch comes in with his donation and you hear it, you come in with a double nickel.
Anonymous, by the way, is his name, not Dog Patch.
I just call him Dog Patch. Hey, I'm on first name basis with him. Dog Patch. So Dog Patch comes in, Anonymous of Dog Patch in Lower Slobovia. Then within a week, you've got to donate essentially 110, and then he grants you your damehood?
No, 105.10.
105.10, double nickels on the dime. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I think, he's being it's very sexist.
Well, he realizes that he does these donations, a lot. And when he does them, there's a knighthood that could be granted. And so he's decided to grant.
I think that's fantastic.
Every time he does one of these, he's going to grant a damehood.
So he's this is our version of the Madras. So there's free lunch here. Come on. If I understand what he's saying. Follow the successful.
That would be the symbolism.
Follow the successful formula. Well, thank you very much, Sir Anonymous of Dog Patch in Lower Slobovia, also known as Yo Dog to me. You've been such a strong supporter of this show. I hope one day I do get to meet you to thank you in person. Every way you communicate suggests to me that'll never happen, but I certainly do hope so.
Sure.
I certainly hope so.
Or if it does happen, you won't know it.
Exactly. Well, thank you all. Thank you very much.
My name is Schmish. All right. Onward. We'll get that worked out and write it up as part
I'm just going to give him a goat karma just because he's there,
You've got karma.
I don't think that's too much to do for him.
Onward with Borislav Marinov.
Ooh, Borislav.
Another
name that's been around for years and years.
Yes, another name that's been around for a long time, and another guy we don't know. 12-19-19, which is 12-19-19. It's just under, $19 over $1,200. We'll put him in the club.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's
the amount is just the show date 12-19-19. Which is exactly right. 12-19. Coincidentally, we could have put that in the newsletter.
Another gambit we missed.
Yeah. Well, please send some winning karma. Send some winning against a frivolous lawsuit karma and some jobs karma.
Oh my goodness. Well, we need to pile it on for you there.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
By the way, we got a new jobs. We have 4 currently. We've got the one you just heard. We have 2 different Trump jobsers, and we've got the Nancy and Trump jobs. And now add this one to it, which we recorded yesterday.
Jobs.
That's Pence. So in case anybody wants a VP jobs karma, we have that now as well.
Okay, good to know.
How many years have we been using this?
Oh, at least 10.
Yeah, and these politicians still come out and say it like it's like they just invented it. Hey, I got a good one.
It's a variation on, if you're going to take it as like the way jokes operate. You do variations. This is the variation on the location.
Oh yeah,
which is the classic old line. How do you pick a good real estate spot? Location. And then it evolved and devolved into developers.
Oh God,
like Steve Ballmer.
I forgot about that. Well, also, anytime you say something thrice, apparently, then it sticks in people's minds if you say it 3 times.
But the original Nancy one breaks the rules, and it's 4 times.
Jobs, and jobs.
You're right. It's an and jobs. That may be the power of it, now that I think about it. Everyone else just does a 3-peat, but I think you're right. It's the
breaks the rules,
3
man.
3 plus 1. Yeah, man. Well, good luck with it, Borislav, and thank you for supporting us.
Baron Sir Drebscott of the ELB Express who actually gave twice on today's show. He's going to, I don't know, we have to probably double credit him. But he gave $1,200 to become a member of the 1,200 Club and celebrate the 1,200 shows. I always ask for no jingles nor karma, but my last donation I mentioned coming out of the fog of war of new twins to go along with a 2-year-old, 3 kids under 3 at 40 years. I wanted to thank you for the sorry, let me read it again. He's got 3 kids under 3 and he's 40 years old. It's no joke.
I'm sorry. I think that's why I gave him a gratuitous karma. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, man.
Adam provided me with karma even though I didn't request it, and I wanted to thank you for the karma.
Well,
recently at work, I had to write my annual self-appraisal.
No, this is so new.
I love the old self-appraisal.
So yes, it's called a 360 review, actually. Did you know this?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's a 360 where you write about yourself. You also review your direct manager, which is always a fun thing to do. And then the manager also, of course, will review you. 360.
Yeah, this sounds like a part of a stack ranking scheme, which is the worst thing for companies. I've never done anything like this. I've always been in companies where there's just old-fashioned reviews, if at all. It seems to me, instead of reviewing somebody, you bring them into the office, tell them what you think. Just tell them, hey, you're doing a pretty good job. I'm glad you're working here.
Stop right there. I just need to bring it up. We'll come back to it later. After all, these segments are also content. Under the heading Slackified at GE, at General Electric, the way your boss reviews you is with, and I'm not sure if they're actual digital stickers or if they are just words, but the in the review category under insights, you can send someone a consider or a continue. So continue means you did a good job. Continue doing your job. Consider means you need to work on it a little bit. And that's it. It's 2 words. It's either continue or consider.
This is probably, I don't know this, but I'm just saying I know about General Electric's early experiments with stack ranking that Jack Welch implemented. That was the beginning of the end for General Electric, I might add.
Yeah.
And they have pulled it. I know Microsoft pulled stack ranking. I've written about this a lot. And it's a very onerous methodology. It makes yes men show up. It makes the real creative types quit the company or you kick them out. And it's detrimental to most companies. In fact, Microsoft was sliding until they got rid of their stack ranking, and General Electric is still in the tank. And this sounds like a modification.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the new way we communicate. Just one word. Or an emoji. Personally, I think you should just boil it down to a smiley face or a poop emoji. That's the easiest way to understand.
Yeah, well, this is idiotic. I've never had this happen to me, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the note. Recently at work, I've had to write my annual self-appraisal, which is dumb. I was really hard on myself. I didn't think I had performed well this year due to the fog of war mentioned above. Twins, kids, whatever.
Yeah.
My manager had the complete opposite opinion. He wrote me a great review and noted that I exceeded expectations. He's kind of crediting this to the karma, I think.
Oh.
That phase is only used at my company when a promotion or a significant raise is on the way.
Oh.
Code.
Ooh,
that's great.
Nice.
That's great. I also received 2 bonus checks from other departments for work I completed on projects we worked on together. That's nice. I attributed this directly to the karma. Thanks again for the karma. Dropping the T's. The other day, I headed to Costco with my 3-year-old. She loves going there and recognizes the route as well as the sign for the store. When she said, "Yay, Costco," Costco without the T.
Oh, no.
I had an old crap moment. I realized I've been dropping the T from Costco for years. I quickly corrected her and now pronounce it Costco. By my accounting, my donations this episode bring me to Viscount status, but I have yet to claim the protectorate. If the peerage committee approves, and the peerage committee, I've just checked with them, they approve immediately. We read this note earlier, and it has been approved. Viscount at large What?
No, I'm just laughing. I didn't even get invited to the. I didn't even get invited to the meeting. But
you're not on the peerage committee.
I know.
Hello.
Okay.
Viscount at large seems appropriate for me. My accounting is below. Anyways, Viscount at large. Thank you for the amygdala protecting deconstruction twice weekly on Thursdays. Keep up the good work.
And a note about that, I don't know if it's because of the animated No Agenda or why exactly people are talking about their amygdalas more often these days in donation notes. That is John and I didn't start out we didn't start the show and say, hey, I got an idea. Let's heal people.
You're healed.
This was not the original intent of the show. But that it happens and that people feel much better. And we do have some science with the amygdala behind it. But when people say this, that it makes me feel really good about what we're doing. I guess that's what I'm going to say. So thank you for mentioning that. And thank you for your very long support, Baron Sir Dreb Scott of the ELB Express, soon to be Viscount. It's appreciated.
Onward. Yeah, it's very appreciated. But we should mention the amygdala thing. It turns out that if you sit around, we've discussed this, we had almost a whole show about it. It turns out medical evidence about people who sit around like that woman in green who scream out, no, because Trump got elected and the people get all bent out of shape because when you mention Trump, they will, their amygdala swells up.
Yeah.
And it makes them more animal-like. And my phone is ringing.
And when I'll take over from here. And when you get into the animalistic state, or some would say reptilian, with an enlarged amygdala, you are very sensitive to danger. And so you're going to respond in a very primal way to anything that you perceive as danger. Of course, we know what danger is, orange man bad. And then it is a chemical thing that takes place, and you can become a little more unhinged than you typically might be with a healthy-sized amygdala. Hence, we are credited with keeping people's amygdala sizes in check. And I'm,
exactly.
As a medical professional, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, well, at least you play one on the show. Onward with Sir Darren O'Neill.
Hey, Darren O.
One of our guys. 365 from Mokina or Mokina, one of the two, probably Mokina, Illinois. Hello, John and Adam. In honor of my anonymous benefactor helping me to get my knighthood a few episodes ago, I wanted to play it forward. This donation is to be credited to, and I want people out there take notes on this because we don't do this sort of accounting.
No, it's
$65 goes to Ned. And he becomes a knight today. He was submitting a note with his roundtable request. I don't know. Do we have that? Eric said there were 40 notes. It was a mess.
Let me see. Let me see if Ned. No, I don't. Or does he? No, I don't see him on here.
Well, I don't have a note from him that I know of.
I don't have a note either. Okay. So, well, we can do it on 1201.
We'll do it on the next show, sure.
Yeah.
1201 is good.
Okay.
Great. $150 ITM OM underline OMA aka Omaha. And $150 to Prof War,
yeah.
WORR.
He's you find him on noagendasocial.com most of the time. He's a good guy. Well, geez, this is nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
And it was an anonymous donor who brought Sir Darren O'Neill up to knighthood. Darren, for those who don't know, if you listen to the live stream, which you should try to do if at all possible, noagendastream.com. We do it live on Thursdays and the second Thursday of the week.
We do it live.
He does a pre-show for about an hour before our show and gets me into a good mood. It doesn't matter where I am. I'm like, I'm just kind of jamming out and doing putting my final touches on the show prep. And he's always playing something good. And he's another driving force in our Value for Value network. Thank you very much, Sir Darren O'Neill. And Ned, we'll take care of you on 1201.
Congratulations on 1,200 episodes, he continues. The show is more vital now than ever. Dare I say you're hitting your stride?
Just hitting your stride.
We're just hitting something. Stop the hammering. Your hard work is appreciated. Thank you for all you do. If time persists, remind people to listen to the Grumpy Old Bens, grumpyoldbens.com. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Sir Darren.
David Fugazotto, 360.33. And he starts off, he, by the way, is the Baron of Saudi Arabia and the Peninsula and some parts of the U.S.
He's got quite a title, yes.
He's got a big title. Yay, he says. Congrats on all the another milestone. Thank you for your courage, all the producers. Fugazotto.
Yes, Dame Melody, Dame Isabella. Thank you very much, David.
Yeah. Push 333.33. Today I give in the name of my best friend Payne. Please give P-A-Y-N-E. Please give him a birthday shout out backdated to the 7th. I don't know if we got that or not.
Yeah, I got it. I have it.
The date which will live in infamy. I weighed the birthday. What? I weighed the birthday and the 1200th and decided that he could benefit from more than the 1200th show as his executive producership claim. Okay, he gets it. I hit him in the mouth during a ramp up to the impeachment 2016. He can have credit, but I'm claiming the de-douching.
So the de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
You got it.
Now, to contradict the whole note, he says, please call him out as a douchebag. Before throwing some goat-style karma, new human resource karma his way.
You've got karma.
All right.
These are all special associate executive producers for the 1200th show, The Extravaganza.
Yes, please.
We have, by the way, we have a couple more of these, and then there won't be any more until July. Yes. These special.
So explain the special, how it works.
Well, the idea is we notice that in showbiz they have all these specials they do, and it's not just the Bob Hope Christmas special. And being an executive producer of the Bob Hope Christmas special is a little more interesting than being the producer of show 1110.
Right, just a tad.
And so we offer this special thing. So you can use this as a title in your job thing. You say executive producer for show 12, the special extravaganza show 1200 of the No Agenda show. And that's a special designator that you get for this, for very few shows.
That's your name, the extravaganza?
I think extravaganza is good. You can come up with something better.
I mean, that literally is a Bob Hope type show title, extravaganza.
Yeah. Well, it is an extravaganza. These shows go way beyond 3 hours, and they're usually pretty good. But the point is that this is a special designator, and this Christmas special wouldn't be an extravaganza. It would be another one coming up, the Christmas special. And then there could be a New Year special. I guess we could do that. But then there's nothing until July 4th. So this is your last chance to get in on these kind of things. These are people who need it on their bio.
Yes. And it's a good place to have it on your bio, for sure.
Yeah, and you have a pitch about that you deliver at the end of this list. Let's continue to get this done. Scott Finlan in Oliphant, Pennsylvania, $333.33. This donation puts me over the threshold for knighting. I'd like to be knighted Sir Short Stack of the Endless Mountains. I don't know where people come up with these ideas. I would like to request jobs karma, please. My smoking hot wife had some unfortunate events happen with her now previous job, and she decided to go back to nursing school. And I could also use some good helping of karma heading into the new year. I would like to point out that I'm still waiting for the autographed picture that was tied to John's 8/18 anniversary. I will check it out and see why you didn't get one. It was my second donation. When I had sent it, I requested to be anonymous. Probably that's part of it. So not to be read on the air. John had made a comment about how are we going to send this to an anonymous person. Anyways, goes on. I mean, who doesn't want a signed autographed picture of John and in their life? I agree with that.
Okay, here's the jobs card. Good luck to your smoking hot wife. Hopefully this will help.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
There's Xenonymous in Liverpool, UK, 333.33. He's got the whole thing. Congratulations on 1,200 shows and Merry Christmas. Jobs karma, goat karma, Sir Z.
Liverpool, UK.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Sir Dreb Scott comes in again at 333.33 to get in on the special. And he just says anonymous from Baron Dreb Scott, ELB, NJNK. Sir William of Texas, 333. Sir William of Texas here. Congratulations on 1,200 shows. No jingles, but I could use some jobs. Goat karma, please.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
You know, the timing of when the goat karma comes in on some of these
is perfect.
Makes it funnier.
It's the best.
Stuart Walton in Staffordshire, UK. 333. Greetings from Staffordshire, UK. Donation for show 1,200. Listener from the beginning and $55 or $5 a month donor for many years, and a few Mother's Day donation shout outs too. This first big donation is a belated birthday request, please, and a 20th wedding anniversary. Shout out to my wonderful smoking hot wife, Michelle, who still puts up with me after all these years. No jingles, no karma. Love and light to you both, and warmest wishes for the wonderful work that you do. Happy Christmas and Merry New Year, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you very much. And she's on the list.
Matt Shelnut in Oakville, California, 333. Hello, John and Adam. Here's hoping I make the cut for show 1,200. My LinkedIn profile could use something shiny like an executive producer credit. I've long gone without donating and I finally decided to change that. No jingles, just jobs karma. As it's time I finally finished up my third actuarial exam and got a real job. Keep spreading the sanity.
What kind of job is that? Actuarial?
Is that the guy's insurance policy, like insurance or something, where you do tables and it's like a lot of work?
So you don't actually know.
I don't,
Okay.
but I know it's got something to do with actuaries.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Yes.
You've got karma.
Sounds complicated.
Well, look up actuarial while I read this next note. It was from Addison Todd, $333 in St. Charles, Missouri. In the morning, from fine gentlemen, just a quick note to say thank you for the best podcast in the universe, according to the Mueller report. Did you see the article there was an article, I didn't bring it down for the show, that was in the New Century, there's a town down in Los Angeles, New Century, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. It's a little newspaper, and they wrote up the New Agenda show, a whole page.
No, really?
Yeah. If you didn't get a copy, I'll have to send
that's
you a
nice. By the way, actuary, insurance bean counter.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, you were right.
Now, they wrote it up and it's like a big one of our.
Now, this is a real newspaper?
Yeah, it's one of those, like a shopper. It's a daily, little small paper.
But it's actually printed.
Yes.
And it comes in your mailbox. They stuff it. Or it's at the supermarket next to the auto trader.
I have no idea. Not down there.
All
but
right.
he put it in the mail. And in there, it goes on about the show, and it says, this show, and he's talking about how famous the show is even mentioned in the Mueller report.
Century City is where it was. Century City, California. Sure.
Yeah,
wow.
Century City.
Oh, that's nice. I have not seen that. Oh, that's cool. Mentioned in the Mueller report. I guess they got great editors there at the Century City Gazette.
I think they knew what they were doing. It was mentioned, and we will mention this, it was mentioned by omission. It was.
Mentioned by omission.
If you remember the way they described the Mueller report, if it wasn't in the Mueller report, then it was true. Addison Todd's next in St. Charles. I just said that. Did I read his whole note? I don't know. I'm losing track. I don't think. In the morning, fine gentlemen. Thank you for the best podcast in the universe, according to the Mueller report. That's what triggered me.
Yeah.
I could use some jobs karma for my home-based business where I sell on Amazon and a Sharpton mix. That's true if you're feeling up to it. My 5-year-old son loves your show and knows most of the jingles as well. I'd like to call out my best friend, Matt, as a douchebag. Douchebag. But not that big of one because he originally hit me in the mouth. We are constantly on the search for high-quality podcasts, and we do our own and are approaching 250 episodes if anyone is interested.
Oh, wow.
It would be great to hear feedback from this lovely audience of listeners. Just look up Give That Some Thought on all podcast platforms or givethatsomethought.com. Fair warning, it doesn't compare to yours. Keep up the good work, and God bless you for all you do. Please don't find an exit strategy. Addison in St. Louis, always in St. Louis, Missouri. Okay.
JOBRESPICT.
That's true. Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Bruce Hitchison, 327.68. I don't remember exactly when I started listening to the best podcast in the universe after a sideways bump from the Cranky Geek show, but I heard Adam broadcast for the last time from Gitmo Nation Bangers and Mash, so it's been a significant amount of time. I hit my girlfriend in the mouse recently, and subsequently she asked me how close I was to knighthood. That's right, ladies.
You want to?
That's what
see
you do. Hey, what are you? Where are you? Knight yet?
Come back when you got one.
In fact, hold out on him. I was embarrassed and ashamed at my douchebaggery. I began my quest 16 weeks ago with a donation of 1 cent. What? And have doubled it every week since then. I look forward to meeting you on the dais next week as I reach knighthood. Well, if you keep doubling it, yeah, you'll get up to pretty.
Interesting. So 16 weeks if you start with 1 penny and double it every week. Huh.
Yeah, you can do the calculation.
Oh,
no jingles, no karma, but a de-douching, if you please.
You've been de-douched.
And a happy birthday shout out to my smoking hot girlfriend, a.k.a. the wench. Apparently there's a picture attached.
I saw the picture. She's very cute. She no wench, man. She no wench.
She no wench.
She no wench.
Michael Belay, $250, associate executive producer from Fishers, Indiana. I've been a No Agenda listener for several years and a douchebag that whole time, hanging my head in shame. With this donation of $250, can I please get a de-douching?
Yeah.
You've been de-douched.
You also need some karma, and that's true. He's 1/4 of the way to knighthood feels pretty good. Well, it's because this donation is 1/4 of the way to knighthood. Are you aware of leader technology and okay? This is the note from, this is Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Mike and I went back and forth on this, and it's really a conversation that about Michael McKibben, the guy who's decided to take credit for his all social media. He invented it somehow.
Who is Michael McKibben? I've never heard of him.
I had never heard of him either until this one operation was.
Is this the guy? This is the producer you emailed him back quite detailed and said, okay, you really broke it down for him. Said whatever you're reading here, it's bull crap, and here's why. And then he came back and he said, "Oh shit, you're right," something like that.
Well, he says apparently his wife's been hounding him for following this. I'll read this part that's more interesting. Thank you for both of all you do, and a happy birthday. He's in the People's Republic of Fishers. I recently discovered MoFax. The MoFax with Adam Curry show number 18 was legendary. I'm listening through all the shows now, and I'm lucky to be a semi-retired, semi-employed boomer with the time to listen to all these podcasts. Bless you, and best wishes to both of you. Now, yes, yeah.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you listened to that. You know, it's an outgrowth of the No Agenda show, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Thank you very much.
Arnold Thorm.
Wait, he needed a karma. He needed a karma. Got to do his karma.
And that's true.
Yep.
You've got karma.
That's true.
Yeah, and Arnold Thornmeyer in Joshua, Texas, 22222. I've been making monthly donations since 11.9.2019, $832. This donation makes me eligible for knighthood. I'd like to become known as the Knight of Johnson City, Texas.
Johnson County,
Texas. Please give karma to those pilots who are taking their first check ride for a pilot's license. They're usually very nervous. Adam, if you have time, we meet daily, and he's got some codes there. And then 73s, N5ADA, Arnold Thornmeyer.
Oh, okay. So, no, it's not just some codes, but okay. You know, I'm an actual ham radio operator, and you're some kind of fake?
What? How can you be a fake if I have a license? The license is on the wall.
Well,
it's signed by the government.
Well, you have a technician's license, which does not allow you to get on these frequencies. So, yes, he says 38:17 between 7 and 8 in the morning, or 38:19 between 6 and 7 in the evening. N5ADA. I will definitely try and catch you there. So that's 38:17 kilohertz.
He won't even bother. He just likes to show off.
And he wants a karma.
He doesn't even do his thing anymore.
You've got karma.
Government approved. You have it on the wall, really, huh? Okay.
Of course. I have it on the wall with my Universal Life Church Doctor of Divinity.
Yes, I have one of those, too.
Sir Knight Live of the Living Dead in Thorndon, New Zealand, $214. Jingles. I love babies. I love
babies?
Spoof. I love babies.
Oh, yeah, I do have it. Yes, okay.
I love bugs spoof. With this donation, I will finally achieve true knight status. I don't think he's on the list. After being a buy one, get one free bug off knight from that episode 1000 offer, please de-douche me now that I'm worth it.
You've been de-douched.
Hold on. Sir Knight of the... Well, I don't understand. What is he saying?
I do. I get it.
What? I got you.
He's topped off. This was a challenge for all the people who became knights with $500 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them were challenged to come on, get it up to a real number.
Got it.
And so he made it. He made the number.
Oh, thank you very much. Very nice.
But he's already a knight.
Oh, and he wants the I love babies. I'll just throw in a gratuitous karma.
I love babies.
We got to start eating babies.
Babies.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Tastes like bugs.
You've got karma.
That's pretty obscure for something to request, but well done.
I forgot all about that. I love babies. I like to eat. We should need to eat babies.
Totally forgot that one. Totally.
Ono Priester. I think. Let me see if I got a note from him on the emails.
In Soest.
How do you spell that, Priester? So you don't have to go back and forth to screen.
Priester. Priester.
Priester. And we're getting.
I don't think I have anything from him.
Yes, we do.
Oh, good.
In fact, we got two notes, it looks like, which is the. Okay, well, I'll read. Let me open this one in one window and open this one in another window. Oh, he's got three notes. That's great. That really helps. Another window. Okay. Let's see. I'm on a ferry from Germany to Finland. I saw my reply to you had fallen between the waves. MMT, as far as I'm concerned, I like the story of the Baron of the Munchausen. Lifting yourselves down the swamp by pulling your own hair. Another analogy is flight of the Thelma and Louise over the Grand Canyon. At first it is fine, but eventually gravity catches you. All the best, Ono.
Oh, thank you, Ono. Thank you.
Wait. Reminds me to give you another note. Oh, no, he said we kind of talked about when he turns out the bank. Okay, we're talking about MMT is the
modern monetary
theories. This reminds him of the Baron of Munchausen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I want to stop just for a quick second and mention, and he does no jingles nor karma that I can tell. I started looking into modern monetary theory a little more seriously, and I'm starting to like it.
I thought you already were all in. And you know what? You know who else is all in on MMT? The former New York banker. Yeah, he's all in on it.
Yeah. But I like it on one hand, but then it still has some idiocies to it. It also kind of doesn't work if Bitcoin and these other things are working.
That's the problem.
They have to be destroyed.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The Libra cannot happen. The Chiners are talking about some crypto. That is the problem. So now they're going to want to destroy Bitcoin. Well, good luck with that, is what I say. Bitcoin is modern monetary theory in my mind, but what do I know? What do I know?
It's not even close. It can't be.
It's my own version. Leave me alone.
Gary Fars in Spring Valley, California, 21212. Hey, Ren and Stimpy. Congrats on making it to 1,200 shows. I was listening to an old geologic podcast the other day, and he was doing a funny bit on collective nouns and called a group of podcasters a curry.
Really?
This is from 3/17/08. Anywho,
okay. All right.
John, can you repeat the name of that jazz guy you thought Adam was doing when he was doing his Tom Waits impression?
What is
Thank you
he
for all that you
building?
do, Love and Light. Do you remember that?
Yes, I went, what is he building? What is he building?
Oh, yeah, Ken
there?
Nordine.
There you go. Ken Nordine?
Yep, Ken Nordine, word jazz.
Yes.
Ken Nordine, who's still alive, I believe, still works, did a lot of albums in the 50s and 60s. Most of them are rare and hard to come by. I might try to collect a few. And I always thought, I was confused with Ken Nordine. I always thought he was the guy who did the trip through inner space and the Monsanto exhibit down in Disneyland, which was taken out some years ago. But that turned out to be Paul Frees, another fantastic voice of, this beautiful voice. Like the kind of voice that you said when we played the clip from the guy from Nick Ferrari. You said, I wish I had that voice.
Yes, what is he building? What is he doing? Donating is loving.
Yeah. You could almost develop that voice. And you are a smoker. Anonymous in Highland Park, Illinois, 20202. I'm a high school English journalism teacher in Illinois. Thanks to you, the M5M, and the shit show that is Chicago, I have no shortage of excellent deconstructible content for my students' consideration and hopefully education.
Very good.
I got hit in the mouth several years ago thanks to my boyfriend, John. He shared your show with me reluctantly. I should be doing a female voice, apparently. Yeah, this is a woman. She's a teacher. I got hit in the mouth several years. No, I can't do it. It hurts my voice. Thanks to my boyfriend, John. He shared your show with me reluctantly. But I quickly recognized how important your show is to sustaining our democracy. I've even forgiven Dvorak for how he says some woman. When I say some woman?
You often say that woman. You do that a lot, along with the gays and the blacks. But it's okay because, you're allowed.
I'm cantankerous.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's
okay. Here we go. Let's continue. Jingles. She's not sure if you have that ISO of that time Dvorak said "jacked up Joe."
No, I looked. I don't have. I don't even think we ever recorded it.
Pre-eye bleeding. Oh yeah, jacked up Joe. That's when Joe is all jacked up to go on stage, which will be again tonight.
But we never recorded that as.
No, we never recorded it.
No, I don't think so.
From pre-bleeding eye, vitamin B12 episode. That's when I first heard it, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But if you do, I'll have that alongside with the requisite de-douching and the foamer train horn guy. That's what we'll give her.
Now, I just want to say about, because, when someone donated and said that, you're cantankerous, I think I caught a little twinge of you being, it hurt a little bit. Okay, well, I'm going to defend you anyway. I'm 55. And I'm already kind of getting to the point where I don't care about a lot of things and things people say. And you've got a couple years on me. I can imagine, you go along in life and you just care about less and less and less. So it's no, I mean, you or just really don't give a shit about what someone thinks or someone's feelings or anything else. And, you come from an era where we pronounced our T's. So, it's I give you a lot of leeway and grace on this, and I think everybody should. So I'm defending you on this. Okay.
That woman wasn't defending me.
You've been de-douched.
Oh, my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
Did she want? She just wanted.
She wanted a foamer. She wanted a foamer and a de-douche.
Foamer. Tommy Lynn Hellwig, $202. This isn't my first donation, but I never got a proper de-douching, so please dispense.
You've been de-douched.
I'm donating $202 in honor of my new area code. I recently moved to the swampy Hellmouth that is Washington, D.C. in search of a new career. I like the Hellmouth word.
Wow.
Hellmouth. Let me write that down. It's actually a good show title.
Ooh.
Hellmouth.
Yeah, good point. That is a good show title.
Kind of nice. It's got a ring to it, even though it incorporates the word hell, which screws up our. Anyway, he goes on. In search of a new
up
career.
Our trip to heaven, apparently.
Hence, I'm in desperate need of jobs karma. Moving here meant leaving behind for now my smoking hot boyfriend. It is a woman who hit me in the mouth a few years ago. I miss him every day, but just as the normies take comfort. There's another one. Take comfort in looking up at the same night sky. Your show is our touchstone.
Ooh.
When I'm cracking up at Adam doing the Dutch power to the people chant, which is a gem, I know somewhere out there my smoking hot boyfriend is doing the same.
Aw.
Yeah, sweet.
Aww.
Please play Barack Obama, You Might Die, and Putin, Don't Worry, Be Happy, since these are my only two moods as of late. P.S. Looking forward to the next local meetup so I can have the honor of meeting the legend, Sir Dick Bang. I will verify whether or not he actually has a family.
Oh, he does. He's got a full-on family, for sure.
Thanks for the sanity, Tommy Lynn.
You might die.
Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry.
Jobs,
be happy.
jobs, jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Onward with Kevin. Kevin Redacted, $200.33. Congratulations on 1,200 shows. This year I saved my donations for a birthday gift to myself of an associate executive producership. Over the years, No Agenda has become my main source for honest influence-free news. Influence-free news. Without corporate sponsorships and advertising, the No Agenda show is able to do what journalists and networks are supposed to do. The value for value model sets you guys apart from Goliath organizations. And I would argue that you do a better job. We would argue that too.
Oh, yeah.
Your model has the added benefit that the network of producers itself adds value like some crazy feedback loop. Thank you so much and keep up the good work. Former jingle and jobs karma for my wife. Foamer jingle, interesting coincidence. Foamer jingle and jobs karma for my wife, please. Cheers, Kevin Redacted.
Yeah, so it's not a crazy feedback loop, although it may look that way. It is traditionally in broadcasting even called a feedback loop. You're the producers. This is the whole point. You are producing it. I have notes. I've got jingles. I've got clips. I've got links. We provide expertise, opinion, experience, a slick broadcast jacket that we wrap around at it. But that's the whole point. You're not a listener. You're a producer, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
I don't know what triggers the Foamer request, but I will mention that I did talk about the Zephyrs. The Zephyr 2 days ago began 10-car trains again. So they're got the extra empty car going up and down there for Christmas.
Oh.
Lee North, $200.01. I'm sorry. Lee from Omaha requesting Screaming Goat, Jobs Karma, and with a Mariachi Obama.
Yeah.
And a random Sharpton.
Okay, you know what? No. Hey, no. Come on.
But resist, we must, and we will much about that be committed.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Right.
Sir D of Hollandaschrading.
Hollandse
Rading. $200 in Holland. Thank you for your courage. Hey, ho, the M5M has got to go. Sir D.
Well done, Sir D. Excellent.
And that is our last associate executive producer for show 1200. A lot of people joined in on this show, and we want to thank each and every one of them supporting it, showing that they appreciate the fact that we did 1200 shows, and we're continuing right up until we stop, which is, I don't know when.
Yeah.
Won't be anytime, no time soon.
Well, we are celebrating this.
Because we can't afford it.
And it's a celebration with everybody, for everybody. As I said just a moment ago, it's really your best podcast in the universe. I do have a couple other quick items of business to take care of. Big shout out to Void Zero. Void Zero has been running and architected our servers, our distribution network, and has kept the cost incredibly low because of it. He has a number of things to celebrate. First of all, Stephen, his son, who you might have heard on several of the pre-show streams on noagendastream.com, turned 4 on Tuesday, so we'll have him in the birthday list. They're expecting their second child in February, and last Wednesday, he and Iris, his much better half, after living together for 11 years, they got married. So congratulations. I'm very happy for the happy couple.
Congratulations indeed.
11 years and they never had a fight. It's fantastic. I went to the P.O. box. I do want to thank the Santa Ynez Local 805. I got my copied notes. You got that, right? Everyone wrote a cute little note, and it was Sir D.H. Slammer, Dame Bang Bang, Andrew, Keeper of the Mountains, Dame Simona. Who else do we have here? It's just very nice to have that, and we'd already talked about it on the show, but I appreciate receiving the copy of it. Also, thank you to Texas Dragon. I got my rub and my barbecue sauce. Have you tried that yet?
Yes, I did too. I also got my rub.
Have you tried it yet?
And my barbecue sauce. No, I have not. They're all wild, so I have to wait. For one thing, it's raining. I can't really do any barbecuing.
Ah, right.
So I will put some pork ribs up, cook them for about 6. I usually cook them for about 4.5 hours, and then give this the once over, and I'll use the rub, and then I'll use the barbecue sauce.
Texas-dragon.com, and my heart was warmed by a beautiful card from Sergeant Fred, who had not heard from. I know he still listens. Sergeant Fred, Vietnam veteran. So himself, Fred, Elaine, and Maria Castaneda. Also Matt Cox, her husband, and they wish us all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And same to you, Fred. I'm so glad you're doing okay. And I don't know who sent me this, but thank you for the post-traumatic slave syndrome book.
I have not seen that one.
Dr. Joy DeGruy. And yes, she wrote this book, America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing. It's a fun little book for the holidays, so I'll be reading that over Christmas. Thank you. And thank you, executive producers and associate executive producers of the No Agenda 1200th Anniversary Special. That is the title you will be putting on your LinkedIn, on your Indeed, or maybe just on your Twitter profile or on your resume. As John said, it definitely looks a little special when you have a title like that as an executive producer or associate executive producer. Thank you so much. And remember that we are here for another couple of episodes. We're going to go on. We'll keep counting, and you can support us.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And you can speak very clearly to the impeachment because you know it now.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Democrats have no agenda.
Shut up,
we should mention that the next show will be a special of the Dvorak stories.
Yes, and yes, we're taking a rare show off, but this will be just before Christmas. And, of course, we'll take you all the way into the new year after that.
And we'll be working the Christmas show and the New Year's show and everything else. Just the 22nd, we're going to run the there's a couple of shows that were put together by one of our producers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That are my stories, my boring stories that everyone thinks are hilarious. And then Adam's boring stories, which everyone thinks are hilarious. So we're going to have 2 of these shows, but we're going to do my stories first, and then Adam's will fall. Probably sometime next year we'll do that one.
Now, and what marketing class taught you to promote it as the boring stories?
No, I think people think they're hilarious. I said that very clearly.
Oh, you said my boring stories and Adam's boring stories.
Well, they are my boring stories.
They're not boring. They're By the way, oh my goodness, I didn't have time to clip it. We watched Hustlers, the J-Lo movie.
I don't remember that movie.
No, it's brand new. It's streaming, and I will clip it for the next time we speak. Because it's part of it's in a strip club in the heyday of the 90s when the banker, where everybody had money in New York. And there's a guy bringing the girls on stage. John, it is exactly your Raven bit. It is. I mean, you watch that movie and they'd be like, oh, my God, John not only nailed it, he probably made the category.
I want a writing credit.
And I'm literally sitting on the couch going, give it up for Raven. You must see this. Very good. So that I'm actually very excited about. I've checked the show. I've not listened to it all the way through. Some of John's stories, the majority of John's stories are hilarious for multiple reasons. I think the interplay between the two of us makes it work really well. And I think you'll have a good time. I think you'll enjoy that very much. Do
we need to do the intros and outros?
Yeah,
to that show?
I think we do. We got to do it right after today's show. Yeah, okay. I think we should. Hey, I got an interesting video that was sent to me, and it was a speech at forget which university it was. It's Stephen Kvast, Kwast, retired Air Force general, and he was talking about space. And in particular, why
Space Force
is so incredibly important. And I think that we both feel that, obviously space warfare has been going on for a long time. People kid me about it, but I am serious. I think there's a lot more going on in space than we realize. And there are satellites that are chopping other satellites out. But this is way beyond that. And if it wasn't a retired Air Force general, I would say this is second half of show kooky nut job stuff. Listen to what he says about what we are actually going to get from space. I'll give you a hint. Free energy, baby.
Energy. The seed corn of all development, all growth, all survival. Energy. So energy, transportation, information, and manufacturing. These are the things that change humanity, that will change world power, and they are descending upon us in ways that are very unique. The technology is on the engineering benches today, but most Americans and most in Congress have not had time to really look deeply at what's going on here. But I've had the benefit of 33 years of studying and becoming friends with these engineers and these scientists. This technology can be built today with technology that is not developmental, to deliver any human being from any place on planet Earth to any other place in less than an hour. To deliver Wi-Fi from space, where you never need a cell tower to connect. To deliver energy from space, where you never have to plug your phone in, and it trickle charges, and you can use that energy over time. It can be applied to cars, to houses. The technology of Edison and Tesla that we live with in our energy environment, our paradigm today, is expensive, it's dangerous, and it's wasteful. Plug it into the wall, but yet that's what we all do because we are used to paradigms. The power of space will change world power forever. And it doesn't have to be a big country to do it. It can be a small island country, let's say New Zealand, because the technology, if optimized, can change world power. And there's nothing you can do if you don't have that power. The nature of power. You either have it and your values rule, or you do not have it, and you must submit. We see that play out again and again in history, and it's playing out now.
Space Force.
I mean, could the guy have done any better? Threw in a 33, he's bringing up Tesla, free electricity from space. Nice.
If you subtract the votes for impeachment for the votes against it, you get 33.
Okay. All right.
And it only works because 3 Democrats abstained. Or didn't abstain, but they didn't vote.
I don't care. We have free energy coming from space.
We got nothing coming from space.
You know what? I mean, I only got this early this morning, so I need to delve in much deeper. But this is my beat. And I think he's right. I think there's definitely ways, and Tesla was doing this, wireless power. Change the paradigm. And for sure, you want a Space Force protecting that. I like it.
Okay. I'm glad you like it.
You're skeptical.
I had the counter clip to that, and I'm looking at my list, and I realized that I lost it in the shuffle.
Yeah, well, so sorry. You had a counter clip to this?
I actually literally had a counter clip to that.
Power from space?
Not power from space, but just pretty much. I don't have it, so I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to discuss.
A human being can travel from one spot on the earth to another within an hour?
Yeah, that's smoke enough dope, anything can happen.
Okay, you mock, all right? But you mock. I'm diving in, my beat. Laugh all you want. I'll be there in an hour to beat you up.
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen.
And this is an IPO we got to get in on. Whoever's doing it, we got to figure that one out. We got to get in on that IPO.
Well, we're on the topic.
Yes.
We might as well, since you go off the deep end there with that one, let's go to I got my Miss Universe clips.
Excuse me, deep end? A general, a U.S. general, and I'm off the deep end? No,
Steve Harvey fouled up again.
No, but didn't we already do this?
No, we didn't do it.
Yes, we did.
No, we talked about doing it, and you said, I gave you options. I wanted to do the Miss Universe clips.
Oh, and I said, no, let's not do it.
You said no.
Okay. I guess now I have to allow it. All right. Where are we going? Steve Harvey.
Well, let's start with the foul up so we can get that out of the way.
We've got the swimsuit and evening gown competitions coming up. But right now, I want to talk about some wardrobe that was even more elaborate. Earlier this week, all the contestants competed in a national costume contest. Here's a look at the winner, Philippines. This is it right here. I thought I had on something fly, but girl, you just, woo, cake and oranges and potato chips. This is a lot. Yes.
It's not Philippines. It's Malaysia.
Okay, well, let me explain something to you. I just read that in the teleprompter. Y'all gonna quit doing this to me.
Oh, man. Are they out to get him? Is that what they want?
Well, if you saw the outfit he was wearing, I'm pretty sure they are out to get him.
I really didn't watch this time. I'm sorry. It's your beat.
Okay, I found the clip. The counter clip to the clip you played. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong list like an idiot.
It's because you don't have any power from space.
Well, if I had power from space, I'd be a lot better off. Here's the clip that counters your clip, and this is Alex Jones.
Here, let me give you some classified stuff. Elon Musk a few months ago had his meeting with vice president, and they're pitching their secret moon base right now, and they've already got their big 3D printers.
Excuse me. He's taking my bit. He's taking the moon base bit from me now.
They've already boosted into orbit. They've already been delivered some of them to the dark side of the moon. Would you like to know the crater number? It's about a half mile right over on the dark side. And they're already setting up this facility with these big 3D printers for the Mars launch, if you even believe any of that. Yeah, Elon, you know I just really released super classified information about the moon base they're already building. We'll see if I'm dead in a week. I really don't care. Yeah. This isn't a bunch of BSQ crap, folks. You're getting the real thing right here. Because there's always the real McCoy, isn't there? There isn't just a bunch of counterfeits and fakes. There's always the real thing. And everybody knows the real thing when they hear it. Everybody knows the real thing when they see it. Everybody knows the real thing when they feel it.
All right. So you're just mocking me when I'm really serious about this guy and this Tesla power.
0 point energy.
I have studied a lot of Tesla. And by the way, Trump is connected to Tesla. You know, there's connections with his uncle, I think uncle or granduncle would be granduncle, I think.
I have no idea.
Yes, and he was in possession of some of Tesla's. He was at MIT. He came into possession of a lot of Tesla's papers after he died or disintegrated or whatever in the hotel in New York. And we've talked about that on the show as well. Don't do that to me, man, with Alex Jones bull crap with the TR-3 Beta Astra. I know all about that. We're talking about power from space, man, charging your phone. People will care about this. They don't care about a moon base. What, you can charge my phone wirelessly? Okay, now I'm all in. Trust me, this is big.
Well, when you get the wireless space charger, let me know. I will have my phone in the drawer where it belongs.
And I'll be charging it while you're not even looking at it.
That could happen. All right, so you want to do? I just want to talk a little bit about Brexit and Boris and the little English, bring the American public up to date a little bit since nobody else will.
Yes, let me start with a clip from Farage, possibly his last speech in the European Union Parliament, also known as the Powerless Starfleet Command.
After 3.5 years of deception and dishonesty, we will be leaving this prison of nations at the end of January. And we won't become a third country, as I've been hearing this morning. No, we're going to become an independent, self-governing nation. And you can delude yourselves this morning inside this cathedral that all is well, but it isn't. It isn't. People do not want to be run and governed by faceless bureaucrats like Michel and von der Leyen. Did you hear them earlier? Dull as ditch water. You're being rejected. And it's great news that in Poland, opinion polls now show a majority of Poles think they'd be better off outside the European Union. Brexit is the beginning of the end of this project. We are giving leadership, and we'll take it to a Europe of sovereign states working together, being friends together, but not being run by the gang down at the middle there.
And this Poland, that is indeed a news item, that Poland threatens to leave the EU. And I would mention as an aside that they got in a bit of a tiff at the COP25 climate negotiation, where they said, no, we need more money and we want to put some nuclear into the mix. So they're the little bastard child now. But if Poland wants to leave, what will we call it? Polexit? Plexit?
Polexit.
Well, but is it Polexit or Plexit or Pexit?
I don't know. They probably will get kicked out if they don't leave. I mean, they're putting the screws to them because they're not going along with the COP thing. I don't have the clip, but according to Amy, COP25 was a disaster.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, because they didn't...
Nobody could agree on anything. It was just like there's all these...
Because they're divvying up money they don't have because we're not giving it to them. The United States. That's
pretty much...
That seems
really,
to be the issue.
Boils down to that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is I was listening to one of the talk shows, and there's this guy who's a kind of a pop... He's a professor and he's a pop sociologist. He's like always a commentator. He's on various British networks. His name's David Starkey, and he does a little bit of an analysis. I don't have the second half of it for some reason, but I do have the first half. And this is about Boris, and there's a tidbit in here that I was unaware of.
You said it's called About Boris?
It's called Boris, David Starkey, Analysis 1.
I got it.
Does Boris's election win last week represent a people's revolt against the establishment?
I think it does. I think it represents it in so many ways. I think, first of all, this is a vindication for the good sense of democracy. The notion that there is a wisdom in crowds. You don't normally hear about the wisdom of crowds in the Garrick Club, but I was having lunch there yesterday, and I met the former Bishop of London, and we know each other quite reasonably well, and I said, amazing, isn't it? A victory for democracy. He said, yes, and a victory for patriotism. And I think that's what it really was. And this raises a whole series of questions. Why did it happen? What paved the way to it? And I think we've now got to start rejudging referenda. The necessary background to this were the popular verdicts, the winning of 2 referenda. We've forgotten about the first one. It was the one that said we were not going to replace the first-past-the-post system by some kind of proportional representation. Now, that's the fundamental step. Because proportional representation leads to multiple parties, leads to the fact that you have no clear verdicts in general elections, and instead you have squalid dealing in they're no longer smoke-filled rooms after the election, what it happens over almost all continental Europe. So that first popular vote, and then the second popular vote is, of course, the Brexit referendum. There was then the pullback, the disaster of the 2017 election because of Theresa May, a complete unsuitability as a leader. I mean, the contrast between her and Boris, it's as though you sort of set up a little textbook exercise, somebody who basically doesn't like people, who doesn't like meeting people, who isn't confident in defending an argument, who goes all sort of defensive and cross, as opposed to somebody who actually likes people, at least I know no one knows anything about Boris. He's very good at pretending to like people. He appears, which is all that matters.
So, what this brought to mind, and by the way, there's a second part of this where he talks about United States and how this really is going to be the same thing going on here. And I do have an ISO of part of the second part. I want to play that. And that is, let's see where it's called on here.
Populist World?
Yeah, populist world.
It's a populist world.
He says that this is a populist world that we're living in, and this is part of this populism. But the thing that came up that I was unaware of was this first past the post. And I was unfamiliar with this first referendum because I'm not living over there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to read from first past the post is the way that they do the elections. And this is why you don't have too many parties in the UK. You have these major parties and all the other ones like the Brexit Party and the UKIP and all the rest. They never get anywhere and they don't get any people because they don't qualify under the majoritarianism of first past the post, which is the way it works in England. So you don't end up with 1,000 parties like you do in France and Germany, because they just can't get anywhere. I'm going to read this from The Economist. In Britain's electoral system, seats won at a general election are not shared out between the parties proportionately nationwide. That's what the referendum was trying to do, because they were trying to Europeanize the great UK. Instead of each one of the 650 constituencies, each one is self-contained, meaning any vote not used to win a seat is, in effect, wasted. In 2010, over 900,000 people voted for the populist UK Independent Party at the general election. They needn't have bothered. UK didn't win a single seat in the House of Commons. The Liberal Democrats, the best-known loser from this majoritarian system, joined the Conservatives in a coalition government after the 2010 election, but over 5.5 million of its 6.8 million votes made no contribution to its 57 seats. Under a proportional system, its votes would have translated to 150 seats. At the 2015 election, the Scottish National Party became the first minor party to win a number of seats in Westminster that outweigh its share of the popular vote. So this was something that we never even discussed, which is that the first referendum was about changing the whole parliamentary voting system in the UK.
Yeah, we completely missed that.
And it was rejected. So it was rejected, so nobody paid much attention to it. And you ended up with the second referendum, which was the Brexit vote, got voted in. And I think a large part of people thought that it was not going to get voted in. It was because of the first referendum that got voted out. And so now you have this situation in England where they're going to actually do this.
It's eerily quiet. Yeah, we must laugh. We'll see. We'll see how far Boris really wants to push it. I just thought
that was interesting. And this guy goes on to emphasize this populist thing that's going on. He points it out all over the world. And, it's being rejected by the globalists because globalists are not populists. And they don't like the idea because who needs the hoi polloi telling people what to do. And that brought up another point he made, which is the wisdom of crowds. He says, the wisdom of crowds. This is funny to me.
Now, this is an established theory, is it not? The wisdom of crowds?
This is a Silicon Valley thing.
Oh, God. No.
The book came out years ago.
Yes, I remember this.
Wisdom of crowds. Wisdom of crowds.
Who wrote that?
One of the Silicon Valley hacks, one of our local boys, I think I know who wrote it, but I can't think of his offhand. I mean, they write a lot of these books. And so this came out, and this was talking about networking and how the world's going to change because of the internet. And you got social networks. And all these things.
James Surowiecki?
Oh, maybe. I don't know him then. I was wrong. But the wisdom of crowds was this basis of a lot of the thinking around here that slowly devolved into globalist thinking. And the wisdom of crowds, the whole idea, which was very popular a few years back, was shoved to the curb because the wisdom of crowds is Trump.
Listen to this. This is from the Amazon review page, August 16th, 2005. In this fascinating book, New Yorker business columnist, I don't know, that's not really a Silicon Valley guy, but James Surowiecki.
No, okay, I was wrong about who wrote it, but it was super popular in Silicon
I remembered.
Valley.
Explores a deceptive. In fact, this came out, and I think we were raising money at the time, and I'm sure that one of the Kleiner Perkins guys was talking about it or handing them out. James Surowiecki explores a deceptively simple idea. Large groups of people are smarter than an elite few, no matter how brilliant, better at solving problems, fostering innovation, coming to wise decisions, even predicting the future. With boundless erudition, and in delightfully clear prose, Surowiecki ranges across fields as diverse as popular culture, blah, 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 blah. To show how this simple idea offers important lessons for how we live our lives, select our leaders, run our companies, and think about our world. We should read that one again.
I believe we should, because I think it has a lot to do with what's going on. By the way, the little aside you made there, where one of the guys, Kleiner, was handing these books out. There is a very popular habit that you run into in the Bay Area in general, but just in the tech circles, where these, and I knew two guys that would do this. They find a book that they read and they liked, and they would buy a box of them, keep the box of books in their trunk, and if you ran into them in some situations, hey, come on, I got to give you the book, give you a book.
Yes, and you know which one? The one that pops to mind, The Monk and the Book.
Monk in the Book?
Yeah, this was, who was the guy at Kleiner Perkins who came from TiVo, and he was kind of like their entrepreneur in residence, even though he was with a failed, oh man, what was that guy's name?
I can't think of the TiVo guys. I know some of the investors, but I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm going to do Kleiner Perkins TiVo guy. Anyway, keep going and I'll find it.
Bing it. Well, so the idea was that you buy a box of these books and you do the author a favor because you bought a box of books,
right?
And then you would hand them out to everybody that thought might read the book. Yeah. And I always thought it was kind of cute.
And if you recall, there was quite a period around 2000. I'm going to say 7 to 9 when Silicon Valley guys were handing out copies of Atlas Shrugged. It was big.
Atlas Shrugged was a very popular book amongst a certain group of people in Silicon Valley.
Tim Draper. True. Wasn't Tim Draper handing them out?
I don't know what Tim Draper was handing out, but it wouldn't surprise me. The point is that for some reason, and I don't even know when this happened because it kind of caught me off guard, and I should have figured this out, and I still haven't, to switch from these libertarian, it was always very like Republican-style libertarians, which was most of the Silicon Valley folks, if not just straight-up Republicans, switched to Democrat globalists.
Yes.
Just almost like
overnight.
On a dime.
Yeah, overnight. I know.
I don't know what the dime was. I mean, but all of a sudden, everybody in the Valley is a Hillary-supporting Democrat hoping for no borders.
Yeah. It's quite a stretch from the Atlas Shrugged days over to open borders. Well, while we're on these types of topics, a little Green New Deal news. First of all, Pacific Gas and Electric is now all in on microgrids, as predicted. They're looking to set up 20 microgrids. They're taking bidders already. See, we missed it. I knew it. I knew it would be a great way to make money. Exit strategy, and already we're too late. Pacific Gas and Electric said that microgrids are expected to keep power flowing to thousands, if not tens of thousands of customers per substation during a power shutoff. The utility hopes to cut the number of customers that lose power by nearly 1/3. Microgrids, baby. That's where it's all at. Greta. Now, apparently we made some mistake, or you made a mistake to be quite fair about it. German Rail has been scolded for their tweet to Greta saying, hey, you had a first-class ticket. Being scolded for apparently releasing her personal information that they had, of course, in their database. So it's a violation of the global. What did I
do wrong?
Oh, no. You didn't really do anything wrong, but you said that Greta got in trouble because the German she was sitting on the floor with the luggage, and she tweeted, "Oh, the trains are overcrowded. I have to sit here next to the luggage." Then German Rail, Deutsche Bahn, said, "Hey, Greta, thank you for traveling. It would have been nice if you had acknowledged how well and competently our team treated you in your first class seat." And they were excoriated for violating the general data protection rules, of course, because they knew that she had a first-class seat because it's in her database. They use that publicly, is a violation. 2, one of those trains that she was traveling on was taken out of service, and she did, for a little bit, have to actually ride, or she didn't have to, but it made sense. It was overcrowded, so she rode next to the luggage. So the bottom line, Greta still rules. German Rail, assholes. In fact, here's the headline. Deutsche Bahn in trouble with Berlin authorities after exposing Greta Thunberg. But here's the news. This spontaneous climate protester, Greta Thunberg, this very spontaneous actions that she's undertaken for several years with her climate strike, her Friday strikes, will now be the subject of a documentary. Apparently, someone followed her from the beginning of her journey by coincidence. And Hulu is the team behind it. Following Greta Thunberg from her early school strike in Stockholm all the way to the parliaments and massive international protests she's been involved in. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, how good are you if just you, of all the people, you think, what? I think she may be something. We'll just have a camera rolling on her just in case. Isn't that amazing?
That is disgusting.
She is a beautiful icon. It's abusive what they're doing to her, but this was
totally
set up.
Abusive. But luckily, she's kind of autistic, so maybe it won't affect her negatively.
Yeah, but this is a scam. This is a setup. This is not any
total scam. The whole thing was a scam. And why is anyone worshiping at the altar of a kid?
Yeah.
Talking about ideology. I mean, this idolatry. It's ridiculous. This is one of the 12 commandments, 10 commandments. There used to be 12. 10 commandments. It's like a violation.
Excuse me. Did you say there used to be 12 commandments?
I just said that as a joke. I'm thinking of the movie. There should have been 12 commandments. We can come up with 2 more.
Thou shalt donate. I got a lot of feedback. I think we both actually were on some of them about millennials being slackified in the workplace. And the
yes, my millennial list is going on. I've got people writing me at john@dvorak.org about characteristics of millennials, and I'm putting together a list of the various characteristics, and some are arguable. I think, for example, bone broth comes to mind.
Yeah, we did that one already.
Well, bone broth comes to mind. The last of the craft beer. Dr. Bronner Castile soap.
Well, but I'm talking about behavior. These are just a list of stuffs.
Yeah, stuffs and behaviors. Behaviors are on here. Dropping T's, I got that on here. That's a behavior.
Okay. I would add to that speed listening.
Yeah, good one.
And we got actually a note from producer Roman, and he said, when you first condemned listening to the show at faster than one times, I was amused at your indignation at this, in part because I listened to Ben Shapiro at 2 times speed.
Oh my God.
And only have to slow down and replay when he's making intricate and complex philosophical assertions. The same, by the way, with Scandinavian Peterson. And he goes on to say, in the book, The Mission, the Men, and Me, by Pete Blaber, it's described by an Army psychologist that the brain goes through 3 phases: saturation, incubation, and illumination when learning something new. So I'm now beginning to wonder, our producer Roman says, if always listening to something and listening at greater than 1 time speed puts the mind in an unnaturally extended phase of saturation and actually inhibits the transition to incubation and illumination, thereby retarding our overall ability to learn.
Wow, that's an interesting idea.
He says, my observations are only my own, but I can't help but think that speed listening brings consequences like lack of patience when people speak slowly.
Or normally.
Or take their time getting to the point. As an antidote, I've started doing intermittent fasting of the audio variety. Intentionally not listen to something while commuting or doing chores. At first, I felt like I was going to scream. But once I calm down, I can actually engage in the passive thinking essential to mental incubation. That is pretty deep, and I think we might have a couple of people out there who know more about it. But for sure, I have observed people getting irritated. It's taking you too long to get to your point. What do you want? I mean, I even do that sometimes with you, but I've seen this. I've witnessed this. And that if you oversaturate, you may not be able to learn anything. You're just cramming shit in. It's like a hot dog eating contest.
Perfect analogy and proper use of the word analogy.
Yes.
By me.
Yes, a dynamite word. Then on the Slackification stuff, a lot of agreement. People thought they were reminding us, but I think we kind of made it clear that there is a social networking element to receiving notifications on your phone, and Slack is a notification-based system, and it's not like email where you can just leave it there, let it brew for a little bit in its own sauce. No, in fact, I think with Slack you can even see if everybody's read the message or if you read the message specifically. If it's not surfaced publicly, I'm sure it's if you create the room, you may have that capability. But it is keeping the millennial workforce at a very unhealthy work-life balance. Lots of people agree with that. Well,
I talked to JC, and you were right. His company uses it, he uses it, and he's a manager. And so I brought all this up.
And what's the report?
You're full of crap, is kind of the report.
He says, I'm full of crap?
I think so. He didn't say it outright, but I'm embellishing.
Well,
he says it's the only way. Damn it!
You okay?
Now my little Scarlet device fell on the floor.
Still working. Don't touch it.
Yeah, I'm like. He says it's the only way if you're going to set up shop and do letting a lot of people work at home. It's the only system that works. He says it works well, and although he gets binged a lot, binged. He thinks it's not necessarily a great system. There's nothing like it, so there's no substitute. You can't just swap it out. And he says there are, I talked about the add-ons that you were moaning about, which I was in agreement with, about the stars and the stupid crap.
Mm-hmm.
He says, never heard of that plugin. He said, there are tens of thousands of plugins for this thing.
Sure there are.
And you can customize it any way you want. He never heard of that one. So he wasn't as negative.
Mm-hmm. But also, that he's a manager, so he's clearly not your run-of-the-mill millennial manager. He's grown up in a different household. Maybe he understands a little bit better what a work-life balance is. But this, in general, this came through as a major complaint. Truly, the nature of it being text message-like oriented, the communication really only in text, people doing reviews. Yes, there's 10,000 different. That's one of the beautiful things about Slack is you can put in any plugins. Another one that is very big is GIFs. So you can it ties into Jiffy or whatever else. So people just have entire channels full of GIFs, complaining about their day. But also a lot of it is the millennial mindset. And I thought the note from John Horner, Kilo Golf 5 Zulu Foxtrot Alpha, was a good one, and maybe a good way to go for people. You can use this. Adam, it's not just Slack, though it's eerily similar to a social network. I can see how it sucks in millennial engagement outside of business hours. But the ubiquitous connectedness of modern society. I make it a point to leave my work laptop at work when I leave for the day, and to not respond to work-related text messages when I'm not at work. This garners some cross looks from my coworkers and supervisor and some vague mutterings about not being ready for an operations management position with that attitude. See, this is the problem you run into. But I reply to this as follows. Dude, I spent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on duty for a year when I was deployed and lives were on the line. Ain't no lives on the line here. Which I think is, if you're a veteran, is a great way to go. It's really not as important as you think it is. I've witnessed important.
Well, this is the reason that I used to condemn people who were just bozos in the pre-BlackBerry era, and then the BlackBerry era, and then the smartphone.
Which we called Crackberry, if you'll recall.
Yes, the Crackberry era, and then the smartphone, which is usurped the Crackberry, and before that there was the pager. And my thing, and I say it to people with the smartphone, I say, why are you picking up all these messages? You're not a surgeon on call. Are you on call, or you have to rush to the hospital? What is it that you're doing that is so important?
Well, it's a sickness. And he continues, my supervisor will also stop speaking mid-sentence to reply to a text message. And he's on the boomer Gen X cusp. This is a problem. Again, the OTG lifestyle calls for a phone that is just stupid and does nothing really well. And then I think...
Well, as you know, I'm an OTG kind of guy.
I know you are. And there was a disappointing note that I got from producer Jacob. Adam, I was a $5 a month donor, but have chosen to suspend my donation to the show for a few months. I want to let you know why, so you could at least get input, feedback, constructive criticism on why this donation, albeit small, has been suspended. Now, I take note of people who do this, who will not just say, I have an issue I want to address, but I'm not donating. I don't understand why people do that, but okay. And here was the egregious reason that the donation has stopped from this producer. Your recent comments on the Sunday show towards the end about the Ring spy device was agreeable until you blasted educators who should be teaching password security and other important technology issues so they can be responsible digital citizens. I've found this pattern of being critical of education worrisome because you, and especially John, note you didn't copy John, paint a very broad brush when it comes to educators and what they are teaching kids. Full disclosure, of course, I'm an educator, technology grades K-8, and despite what you would have your listeners and producers believe, I do more things than gender studies. So,
well, that was aimed at me, that one.
Yeah, but apparently, I think we even said there should be a technology class, Tech 101, and apparently this educator has a technology class, and we were not bitching about technology classes, but okay. Here's what our technology class focuses on: a variety of topics you may find interesting, such as Password creation, ways that can be memorable for the user but not easily guessed. Very good. Phishing emails, how to recognize them, what to do when you receive them. How to detect bias in electronic resources. Ethical issues as they relate to computers and networks. I'm looking at you, Ring, Nest, Fitbit, et al. And we've worked through the first few chapters of Automate the Boring Stuff after I heard you recommend it and enjoyed it. You're welcome. I'm certainly no coder, but the principles it teaches early on are certainly fundamental in understanding computer science. Just some honest feedback from a producer that provides a little bit of financial support. I mean, I love everything about this note, Jacob, except that you said I'm not going to donate because you were insulted by something I said, which we actually agree with what you're doing. So I'll just leave that outside.
Weird. So what
weird.
he's saying then is that nobody teaches gender studies?
I think this class, technology class, I have never heard of it. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. I'd like to know how many schools have technology class. I'd like to know the curriculum. And you're welcome, Jacob. I'm happy that my book recommendation could help you in the class.
Yeah. Just make up to you now. He should be coming in as an associate executive producer for that book alone. Anyway, that's just my thoughts.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And we do have a few people to thank for show 1200, starting with Rajdeep Dosanjh. I think that's how you pronounce it. Dosanjh. And it's going to go to his father, Raj. He's been listening to the best podcast since the start. And this odd amount is to honor the 1977 when my dad came to America from Punjab.
Yeah.
When he was 10 years old. We traveled back to Punjab today, as a matter of fact. He's returning. First time he's returned in 42 years.
Well, congratulations. It's nice to go back. Thank you very much, Rajiv.
$197.70 now. Is this coming in from where? It's in the U.S., so that's the right amount. Now, maybe.
Well,
it
was 1977. Yeah, so that was his number.
Well, we could.
We're going to kick him up. We're going to kick him up. I agree. We'll kick in a few bucks. Associate.
We're going to kick
producer.
him up. You have to give him some goat karma and whip him to the Constitution if you can find it.
Yeah. Are you going to read every single donation?
No, I'm going to read that one because we kicked him up.
Okay.
Get out there, whooping with the Constitution. Down.
You've got karma.
There you go.
Onward with Joseph Finley, $140. And he has a note that you insist that we read, which is his knighthood note.
I'll read it. In the morning, my contribution to helping those become a knight. Darren O on No Agenda Social started a campaign, Night Before Christmas, hashtag Night Before Christmas, to get more knights to the round table, and DC Girl suggested Bill Patterson for hitting her in the mouth. She owes her sanity, or what's left of it, to Bill. Therefore, here's my contribution to Bill, who wishes to be known as Sir William of West Pennsylvania. I don't have what he wants at the round table, so I'll take the liberty of asking for organic free-range eggs over medium and organic bacon thick cut. Toss Bill a goat karma, please, accounting above. Well, that is what a nice... That No Agenda Social, man. There's people doing some fun stuff over there. Thank you very much. Yes, we'll be knighting him momentarily.
You've got karma.
And I am putting the requested items at the round table.
Onward with Brittany D, $137, has a birthday and wants karma. We'll put that at the end for you. Then Olga Mulder in Amsterdam, $133. Oh, but Brittany D was $137. Olga is $133.33, and she's in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, dig up your old albums. Not for sure why, but we'll give you some karma at the end. You got a birthday coming up. Richard Spasto, 12345, from Hiroshima, Japan. Stefan Eret in Fellbach, Deutschland. Happy 1200. Matthias Dinelt.
Matthias Dinelt. In Austria.
And he's in Austria. Okay, good.
That's cool to see Germany and Austria side by side.
Into each other
again. Yeah.
120.33. John Fuoco, 120.19.
And let me read this. In the morning, congratulations, John and Adam on reaching 1,200 episodes of the best podcast in the universe. Yesterday, I took a different route home from work to avoid traffic. I passed through an industrial park and saw a 15-foot-tall decorative concrete spire in the median of a side street. On each side were giant 33s. Between that and my car frequently showing all for tires to be at exactly 33 PSI lately, I took the hint to donate. I was hit in the mouth around episode 850 or so and have finally reached knight status. Please knight me Sir Fix-a-Lot, as I'm always working to repair or modify something, whether my own project or a friend's terrible idea. For the sanity you provide to so many people, may you never find your exit strategy. Don't be successful, and instead embrace your calling and legacy as fairly successful podcasters. Thanks for the years of deconstruction. Hey, didn't we have a Sir Fix-a-Lot already?
Maybe. Well, we can have two.
I agree with that.
John Fuoco came in 120.19. Then Trevor Merkin in Bubry, France. Oh, Bubry. Trevor Merkin, $120. And we got a French guy. It's about time. Or he's from someone in France. Ryan Brady in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 120.
These are all Trevor has been around for a while. Also known as Trev. Yeah.
Trev. Okay, Trev. Ryan Brady in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, $120.
He says, with my $120 donation to commemorate the 1200 show, I have climbed to the rank of baronet. Along with the title change, I think I may start using it instead of sir until I have my own protectorate. Thank you both for all you do, and most importantly for your courage. Baronet Ryan Brady, Knight of the Three Rivers. Thank you.
Baroness Karen of the Blue Moon in Colorado Springs, 120 on her birthday, and she is not on the list.
Oh, jeez. Okay, and does she have we'll just say it's on her birthday. On her birthday, yes, indeed. Okay, I'll put her on the list.
Dwayne Biblo, 120, no jingles, obviously. Sir Finch in Portland, Oregon, 120. Can't wait. Andre Pichu, Reisvik. I can twirl. Andre, 120. And then Sir James Knight of Da Region in Crown Point, Indiana, 120. Allison Lindner in Columbus, Ohio, $100.55. Stephen Vischer in Australia, 100. He's going to be knighted. Von Glitchka.
Wait, we're not going to read his note. We should read his note.
You're supposed to interrupt me. You're the one reading these notes.
In the morning, Adam and John, congratulations on another milestone. Thanks for all you do, and long may it continue. May I humbly request a make good. In show 1132, Adam accidentally incorrectly knighted me Sir Steve, Knight of the Northern Skies, instead of Knight of the Southern Skies as requested. That's a big mistake. Certificate, however, was correct. As a train driver and a pilot, the train's good, plane's bad jingle would be appropriate, of course. I feel all the best to you both, and Merry Christmas. Sincerely, Steve Fisher. Steve, I will correct that. We have a special make-do for you, and sorry about the mistake. We'll see you at the table for your correction.
Von Glitchka. By the way, this is the royalties for his recently designed Mandalorian Daycare Star Wars parody shirt.
Oh, nice.
You've been seeing the Mandalorian? It's terrible.
No, I have not.
It's the worst. Sir Shreem in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Nice name for a place. It's 100. Sherry Zucker's 100 in Scarsdale. Nicholas Hanna, 8008 in Indianapolis, Indiana. Drew Sample, 75. Sir Rick in Arlington, Washington. Oh, by Drew Sample's got a call out. Jobs card for my hot girlfriend. I'll put that at the end. Douchebag call out for Jacob Ramirez. Douchebag. And Alex Bell. Douchebag. Sir Rick in Arlington, Washington, 6969. Sir Timothy Brashear, 66.60. Lindsay Harrell, 60 in Prince Frederick, Maryland. Also has a douchebag call out.
In the morning, gents, my smoking hot husband and I listen to No Agenda as a way to connect and have meaningful conversations. Wow, that's nice. We've discovered it gives us a unique opportunity to connect intellectually. Beautiful. Since this is our first donation, we request a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
And we'd like to also call out our friend CJ as a douchebag. I like this note, and I'm happy that that's working. Another byproduct of what we do. We did not set out to make relationships good 12 years ago.
You lost cousin Damian Curry's next on the list with a $60 donation.
Hey, Damian.
Lives in Australia, apparently. He wants to get away from the family.
No, we actually imprisoned that that member on the aisle.
Sir, is that Ukra in Monroe, North Carolina, 5510? Congrats. Brad Hall, 5510. Amanda West, 5510 from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And a birthday shout out to somebody, Adam, another Adam, at 1222. Dean Roker, 5510. He's in the UK.
And he says, still love the show just as much as I did back around episode 100 when we almost quit when I started listening.
When you quit.
I have also been hooked on MoFax as well. Having seen my latest double nickels on the dime donation go out of PayPal, I thought I should check my accounting. Since my first human resource, Sir Hugo of Sussex, was knighted in February of 2017, I have donated $1,800 more. Because I donated $1,500 at the time of Hugo's knighting, that brings the total to $3,200. Wow. I would like to claim my 2 unclaimed knighthoods. I would like to be knighted Sir Deanonymous, and I would like to donate the other knighthood to my newest human resource, Curtis. Could he please have the name Sir Curtis, the Sleepless Knight? If possible, I'd like a classic Jobs karma for my new startup, unless we now know which Trump Jobs karma is the good one, in which case I'll take that. Thank you both for your courage. I think you should do a Pelosi just to keep it clean.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And we'll see you and Curtis at the round table in a minute.
Do you recall when Pelosi did that speech and what bill it was about?
No, was it Obamacare?
Nope.
I don't. What was it?
Cap and trade, or as one of your Texans called it, crap and trade.
Cap and trade. Really? Huh.
Which was never passed.
No, just goes to show.
Make sure that there is the Sleepless Night on the list, because don't remember seeing that.
Okay.
Baron Bob, a High Point, 5510. He's in North Carolina. Sir Nathan Lee in Boston, Massachusetts. He is 5505. Aaron Langerak in Amsterdam.
Langerak. And let me just see. Oh my, it's a long note here, but he does want an F cancer, and we'll do that at the end for everybody. And thanks for the note.
Alex Schmitz in North St. Paul, $50.50. David Corbino, $50.33. Larry Hay, $50.12 in Mooresville, North Carolina. Baronet, Sir Economic Hitman in Houston, Texas, $50.01. The following people are $50 donors, name and location, if we have it. George Wuchet, which is Sir George, I believe, in Universal City, Texas. Brittany Marie DeWolf in Oakdale, Connecticut. Sir Joel DeRuin in Savannah, Georgia. Cassidy Eastwood in Oklahoma City, okay. Brad Taylor in Duval, Washington. Sir Scott Lavender in Montgomery, Texas. Alex Simkus, parts unknown. John Camp in Antlers, Oklahoma. Andrew Gusick in Greensboro, North Carolina. Adam Morey in Middleton, Maryland. Sir Jerry Wingenroth in Saugus, California. And last but not least, Daniel Galloway in Marietta, Georgia. I want to thank all these folks for producing show 1200 and keeping us going to show 1201, which will be coming up next this coming Sunday.
And you probably noticed the affiliates are already dialing in. We're going long with today's show. We want to make sure that we give you a show, as well as thank everybody who has supported us so diligently and really supported your own show over these past 12 years. And that means you too, people under $50. We see you. We know you want to be anonymous. We know you're on subscription programs. But as you can tell, a lot of these do add up, and people pop into executive producership. And before you know it, there's knighthoods and all kinds of stuff happening. But thank you for producing the best podcast in the universe for 12 years running. We may be an underdog, but maybe that's why we're still here. And it's very appreciated. Thank you all. And remember, we will continue. 1201 on the way with the special John stories. You can support that as well at
Dvorak.org/NA.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It's a birthday on No Agenda.
Yowza, let me see. Today is, what are we at, the 19th of December, 2019. We do have a birthday list to celebrate. We got Push, who says happy birthday to her best friend Payne. Celebrate on the 7th of December, actually, a little belated. Baroness Karen of the Blue Moon celebrates today. Brittany D says happy birthday to Sir Mittens of Fall City. Ken Freiberg, happy birthday to his smoking hot wife Barb. She celebrates tomorrow. Chris Smith turned 50 on the 14th. Olga Mulder celebrating tomorrow. Stuart Walton says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife Michelle. And as mentioned earlier, we all say happy birthday to Stephen Void Zero's son, who turned 4 on Tuesday. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe!
It's your birthday, yeah. Title changes. Turn and face the slave. Title changes. Don't wanna be a douchebag.
And we do have a couple of titles changes today. Thank you, Sir Ryan Brady, who becomes Baronet Ryan Brady, Knight of the Three Rivers, thanks to his additional $1,000 support of the best podcast in the universe. And Baron Sir Dreb Scott now proudly places a Viscount title before his name. Thank you all for supporting the No Agenda show. And we also have a number of knightings. Actually, I don't see any dames, but that should be rectified soon with Seronimus of Dog Patch's dame matching campaign. So if you can grab a blade, a good 12, get the 1200 incher. There you go. Perfect. Up on the stage, please. Stephen Fisher, John Fioco, Robert Dolland, Dean Roker, Curtis Roker, Scott Finland, Arnold Thormeyer, and Bill Patterson. All of you gentlemen today become Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. I pronounce-icate the Knight of the Southern Skies, Sir Fix-A-Lot, Sir Ned of Northern Detroit, there he is, Sir Dean Onimus, Sir Curtis of the Sleepless Nights, Sir Shortstack of the Endless Mountains, the Knight of Johnson County, Texas, and Sir William of West Pennsylvania. For you, Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We got organic free-range eggs over medium and organic bacon thick cut. And we got ginger ale and gerbils, bong hits, and bourbon. And, of course, we have mutton and mead. Episode 1200. You all need to go to noagendanation.com/rings and fill out the fabulous little form there. Eric the Show will make sure that you get your night ring, your sealing wax, and, of course, your certificate. And thank you all for producing and supporting the No Agenda Show. 12 years, 1,200 shows. It's 1,200 shows, 12 years, and running. And proud of it. And thank you, John, for putting up with me.
Well, and thank you for putting up with me.
Yeah, you should say that a little with more conviction, because seriously, I mean, you really need to thank me. Nanu. All right, let's. I do have a couple things I want to make sure I play before we leave. And the first one is from the OTG category. No surprise, but just want you slaves to be aware that FaceBag is tracking you all the way to the store and back.
If you're hitting the mall this weekend to holiday shop, Facebook may be tracking your purchases. Reports that the social media platform, with help from retail partners, is monitoring what users are buying, not just online, but in brick and mortar stores too.
it lets businesses send it information about what you purchased.
According to Business Insider, retailers are teaming up with the social media giant, offering Facebook personal information in order to create targeted ads. Retail companies sending names, phone numbers, email addresses, and more, along with what products people purchase. Facebook then using this information to identify the user in its database to target them with that business's ads.
The main way that Facebook makes money is by selling ads. And the reason that it's able to really dominate the online ad industry is because it controls so much personal information and data about its users.
Facebook confirming the practice, saying retailers are able to reach their customers with ads on Facebook by sharing offline events like an in-store purchase, saying this is standard for the industry. When asked, stores like Macy's praised the collaboration as a way to fuel our growth. But Facebook says you can limit how much of your information is shared with them. Go to privacy settings. From there, you can customize what kind of ads you're shown and how you're spending it.
Yeah, okay. No, we don't need to. Our people know how to do that. But finally, people are catching on. And I love the little reports with all the special cyber effects. It makes it so more believable. Yeah, don't you think? It's like, sounds official.
I thought you threw that in.
Well, no, they do their own. This is mine. But they just do that gratuitously. Whenever.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Well, I have one last clip, by the way, before you...
Well, is it an upbeat clip? Because I got a dreary one.
Yes, it is an upbeat.
Then let me do my last dreary one. I've been trying to play this for 2 weeks because it is important that people realize the laws are changing when it comes to schools and kids and vaccines.
Students born on or after January 1st, 2009 will be required to get vaccinated against human papillomavirus when going into 7th grade in the bills sponsored by Senate Brad Hoylman. The bills highlight American Cancer Society stats suggesting that 4 out of every 5 people will get HPV in their lifetime, and that the STI contributes to tens of thousands of cancer diagnoses every year. Parents on social media and the state legislature website are strongly opposed to the bills, saying that the vaccine was harmful for their children. The law would require students to get vaccinated by September 2021.
And this is not stopping at school. Hospitals are now today already requiring people, even if you're in an administrative job, some hospitals are now requiring anybody who works in the hospital to get the HPV vaccine, which I find a fascinating thought.
There's some great marketing going on with this stuff.
I mean, this is you don't get it from the air. It's a sexually transmitted disease. And so they expect you to be horsing around on the job at the hospital. I don't know exactly what the deal is, but having any government official forcing you to inject you or your children with anything warrants a little bit of thought. And we'll leave it at that.
That's good. Yeah, well, this is your beat.
Yeah. Well, I keep my eye on it, but I find it incredibly disturbing. Forcing kids. I mean, measles, okay, I can see where you're coming from. Flu shot, maybe. But HPV?
Well, there's ways around the flu shot. You can get, if you follow the Tamiflu, it's a very good remedy.
Yeah, but they're requiring the shot and requiring proof that you got it from an approved administrator. So it's going to be a problem. There are a lot of people who, I mean, again, for measles, okay, I can see where you're coming from. I don't think it's necessary, but that's up to you if your school wants to do that. Flu shot, similar. I have not seen the benefit. But HPV, you're going to require this at the school? You can't get HPV from just being around kids.
Well, the claim, this is the thing that gets me about that report. The claim, I would like to see this documented, that 4 out of 5 people will all get HPV.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
I would like to see some documentation. I'd like to see some proof. I don't believe that number. I think that's a lie.
And if anything, we've seen a lot of stories, certainly when Gardasil was in their marketing heyday, when they were hanging promotional items on every college room door handle in schools. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. My brain is fried.
You're going to say that there's lots of proof that it's a very damaging vaccine.
Yes, damaging for young women. Absolutely. But okay. I just find that requirement for school out of order. That is, you're right. It's marketing. It's nothing else. There's no need for that.
Good marketing.
Well, you got to applaud the marketing. Yes,
there you are. They're spiking the ball.
We love our marketers. All right,
now
here we go.
My last clip. Let's see if there's anything funny. Well, actually, before I play my last clip, let me play my odd measles story since it kind of hooks in with what you just played.
Okay. Well, we like an odd measles story. Let's see what it is.
More than 140,000 people around the world died from measles last year amidst a surge in the number of cases of the preventable disease, partially caused by misinformation about vaccines. The vast majority of the victims were children under the age of 5. The new figures come as the Pacific Island nation of Samoa has arrested an anti-vaccination campaigner amidst a massive outbreak of measles that's already killed over 60 people, mostly young children.
140,000 dead from measles last year? I would like to see that documented.
I always find it interesting that it's the same people who say we have to have all these vaccines to save people. The same people are saying that our population is out of control. Make up your mind.
Well, that's Well, there's an irony there.
Make up your mind, please. Nature is taking care of business, but oh no.
Well, you might as well make some money in the process. So my last Miss Universe clip. We didn't get to it.
No, okay. This is the upbeat, the exit.
It's very upbeat because it's so funny. This is the winner and the winner's last question, and this is the question about global climate change that Steve Harvey rolled his eyes when he asked the question, and Miss South Africa answered the question as good as she could, and she wins the competition because she's all in.
South Africa, this last one is for you. Here's your question. Are leaders of today doing enough to protect future generations from climate change? If not, what more should they be doing?
Steve, I think that the future leaders could do a little bit more. But however, I feel like we as individuals ourselves can also play a part in making the climate the way it should be in the future. I mean, we have children protesting for climate, and I feel like as adults we should join as well. We should have corporations join as well, and the government should take it seriously. I mean, from 6th grade, I've been learning that the climate is deteriorating and the planet is dying, and it is up to us to keep our planet safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
The planet's dying.
Yes, it is. It's and everyone's like, whoa, excellent, well done.
Are we going out of orbit? What's the deal?
It's going out of orbit. Well, we've deconstructed it again for you today, and I hope you found that valuable. This is a value for value system that we employ here on our network. And it comes sorry?
I'm just going to mention that we will be including all the donations for the next show on the next Thursday show. So it'll be another long donation segment because it'll be combining the both shows, just so you know.
Indeed. Thank you, everybody who supported us today, who supported us in the past 12 years, and supported yourself and the work and the show. The best podcast in the universe. You know who you are. Since we did talk about it, I am going to play the Sir Chris Wilson and Dame Illuminatia. Beautiful song, You Don't Bring Me Power Anymore. And we also have end of show mix from Jesse Coy Nelson and a nice one from Tom Starkweather. Coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in Austin, Texas, FEMA Region number 6 and all the governmental maps in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it stopped raining for a while, which is a plus, but it's kind of miserable out. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return with our special John Stories on Sunday, and after that on Thursday again, right here on No Agenda. Remember us at Dvorak.org/A. Until then, adios, mofos, and such. There are times when the horn is just needed.
Where is it?
There it is. There's the horn. You know we're happy when you hear the horn.
But in the firewall says, plug your ports.
Hit it.
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new program, No Agenda. Two guys with an idea of putting together a
agendaless show.
Episode number 100 of your Gitmo Nation publication. Congratulations on 200 episodes. Well, happy 500, John.
Very few people can do 500 of anything. This is show 600.
Hey! Celebrate 8 years. Come on! Big 800, everybody.
Hey, hooray.
Happy 9th anniversary, Jean-Claude.
Happy 9th anniversary to you.
How long has this been going on?
9 years.
It's too long.
How long has this been going on?
Congratulations on show 900.
How long
10 years.
has this been going on?
Show 1000.
11 years of the best podcast in the universe. 12 years we celebrate, and still no exit strategy in sight. You know, we're destined to do this until the end of our days.
We're special. We're podcasters.
The podcast joke is not that funny.
Just like the Zephyr.
Can't wait to meet you all for episode 1200 of the show you produced.
In the morning never goes away. There goes the Zephyr right on time.
They should get very, very nervous. I would think that would be worrisome to any White House.
On the broadcast, it says where my dog's at. No, it doesn't say that. But what it does say...
Any collusion? Trump Tower Moscow wasn't some tiddlywinks deal.
That facts matter.
Question about whether or not dangling a pardon can actually qualify as a form of obstruction of justice.
Any collusion? Yes or no? John?
Absolutely, yes.
Nancy?
Absolutely, yes.
Donald Trump is talking to Michael Cohen about reaching out to the Russian government?
Look, I watch Rachel Maddow. I get it. I know there are a lot of Russians and Russian people in emails, but and oh, wait, there's more.
Any collusion? Neil Katyal?
100%.
And the ongoing probe of potential collusion with Russia.
It's very clear that they want to send a clear message.
We've got all our experts back for this.
Hello? Jean-Claude? Did you just give up on me? Okay. I'm going to stop for a second. Was that just me jerking off all by myself?
You don't bring me power. You don't feed electrons.
You won't let me into my house. I can't unlock the door at the end of the day.
I remember when you used to let me cook things. You used to power the TV. Now I need new batteries for my flashlight.
Well, I can't charge my phone. I can't call you on Skype.
Well, you just fell over and you turned out the lights. And you don't bring me power
I used to drive a Prius. I traded for my Tesla, but the batteries, they're not charged anymore, and the garage door won't work anyway.
And baby, I remember the powered things you bought me.
Well, I learned from Enron, and I learned from Bill Nye.
But there's not enough wind, and the sun hasn't shined.
Well, you think I could find an alternate supply?
Cause you don't bring me power anymore.
Okay, so give me I'm recording now. So tell me what's happening. And you have no wind or solar at your disposal?
Well, you think I could find an alternate supply? charge my Tesla.
You don't toast my sandwich.
You don't bring me power
anymore.
It's not blowing, the wind's not blowing, so the turbine's not going to be producing anything, and it's kind of overcast. So I can't watch the TV.
All right. Good. I'll figure out how to.
Donate to No Agenda, donate to No Agenda, donate to No Agenda for a happy new year. We'll reach a note and play of jingles, reach a note and play of jingles, reach a note and play of jingles for 200 or more. Good karma we bring to you and your kin. Donate to No Agenda for a happy new year.
That's right. Your No Agenda show is 100% supported by listener donations. So, if you want to prevent anal leakage and keep your amygdala small, firm and round, donate to No Agenda. Your service code will thank you.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's a populist world.